am I doing that?
Welcome, everybody, to episode 25 of The Pylon Show. It's been 25 long years of doing this, and we are just so happy to just keep doing it for y'all. We decided to start today on a Wednesday at 5:45 p.m. If you want to know why we started at that time and on that day, I don't know. We just do it whenever we can, and this is the time that we can. But welcome to the Blizzcon pre-show. I am one of the hosts. My other esteemed host is the familyless, homeless. No, he's got a home.
Yeah, I've got my home still.
That's what he's got. It's Artosis.
Yo, how's it going?
You should have been streaming more, though. We were saying that pre-show. Without your family, I was expecting 10 hours a day of Artosis streaming. I'm not getting that.
Well, I mean, I've been doing like 4-hour streams instead of 3, so I thought that's like a big increase. Wow. And I streamed more than 4 days a week. I've been doing 5 or 6 a week, so I've been putting in the time.
Let me do that math live on air. I think that's a 46% increase in streaming. That's what I did.
It is.
Well, we're your guys' regular hosts. We're happy to be here. It's going to be a fun episode. It's going to be fun because of these two fine gents that we have here with us. First and foremost, a lot of people call him a rebel. A lot of people call him a troublemaker. I'm, of course, talking about No Regret. You guys didn't know what I was talking about? Could have been either one. But it was Nogret
First
this
and
time.
Foremost, I'm honored to be introduced before Peg.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's
Save the
nice.
best for last.
We got to end with the big finale, of course. You are the Mr. Father Hen of Korea right now. Are you coming over to BlizzCon, or are you staying over there in your command center and ordering
Yeah, I'm
minions?
coming over to BlizzCon.
Okay.
I'll see you guys there.
Nice. Can you say what you're doing? Or are you just visiting? Or
You've watched the games, we'll see.
Yeah. I heard a rumor you're casting, right? They dropped Rotterdam and actually hired you for budget purposes.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that rule,
All right.
or that rumor.
You heard that drama here first, guys. Just keep that in mind. And then, of course, always a huge fan of this guy making time for us. He's usually streaming at this time, but he decided to come on and talk a little bit of BlizzCon. It's Australia's own Pig. Pig, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Should be good, you know. We're all going to be over there doing opening week in just a week's time, so it's good to kind of look over, get everyone warmed up and excited for the strangest, I think, year finals we've had in a while. So I think it's really cool. Lots of stuff to talk about today.
I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Well, look, before we get into This Week in Starcraft, which was, by the way, a stellar performance from Artosis. I think we read the YouTube comments, and when the YouTube comments are 98% positive, you've done something perfect. And I think Artosis, yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing. But listen,
good.
A lot of our guests, Pig included, we asked them to come on, and the first question they ask is, how much Patreon money are you guys making? How many Patreons do you have? Because Pig doesn't come on a show that's making anything less than about $17.80. But frankly, if you want to get bigger guests on here, I mean, we talked to Tasteless. Tasteless said he doesn't even get out of bed for a show that's less than $2,500. So I'm looking over at this Patreon, and I'm thinking, there's a lot of you guys supporting us every month, and I really appreciate that. But I'm also thinking, there's a lot of you guys that are not supporting us every month. And instead, you're buying pizzas that you could be winning in an online bi-weekly tournament. You're not buying mugs. You're not, there's things you can be doing. And I want you to know, every time they ask you, do you want to supersize that or do you want to add extra cheese? And you say yes, that could have been a couple of bucks to the Patreon of the Pylon Show. So if you want to see some of these bigger name guests, I mean, at $17,000 we could get day 9, and I'm not even kidding you. That's actually a real number. You need to contribute. Okay, so those of you that are doing it already, I love you. Thank you very much. Those of you that aren't, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Other sponsors we got here, of course, is AFK Tea. This is something that Dan's been drinking on the regular. He still says it's good.
It's still good, turns out.
We've got his heart hooked up to a monitor, so if he drops dead from some weird venereal disease in a couple of months or something, we'll know. But until then...
It will be because I haven't drank enough of this delicious monopot AFK tea right here.
Really Lycan would like to let us know that he is releasing something soon, but we don't have any details yet.
Like, listen, the announcement of an announcement's my territory, Lycan, all right?
I know, I was going to say.
Jeez Louise. He wants us to announce he's going to release something. All right. Well, we'll see. So thank you to those for the support. And then, of course, we also have Matcherino, where you can buy a lot of awesome things. Zombie Grub tweeted a picture of the Is It Though mug that does, of course, elevate her to the highest tier of society. If this were a caste system, those are the kind of people that don't ever have to work. They have other people that clean their feet, that kind of a thing. If you don't own any of these things, you're the kind of people that end up clean. You're the forgettables, the touchables, and you guys need these shirts. So if we see some of the stuff at BlizzCon, I guarantee you a handshake, maybe a hug if you look like you're hygienic. That's a tough precedent set, right? Because then if I don't hug someone, they're like, "Do I look dirty?" I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Nero even contributes some ideas here too, with that great pulsing veiny brain of his. So some awesome stuff there. And even if it's not super spectacular to you, again, it is a way to support the show. So please do consider it. And then last but not, well, no, still on Matcherino, the code of the day is pasta, because today is national or international.
It's not, though.
I know. You know this became a thing because you said that, right? Like, Cobra was like,
it kills me because I'll see it on Twitter. It's like, National, your favorite movie from the 80s Day. And then everyone's like, this is a great excuse for me to post my favorite movie from the 80s. And it's like, oh my God, you all are being played by Facebook.
I love that Dan and I are like kindred spirits and that we're both getting older and crankier, because I would be making this rant if not for the fact that I'm hosting right now. So we're on the same page.
I don't know what you fuckers, but I'm getting some pasta today. Like,
well, I saw the picture.
This sounds like a good excuse.
Well. Yeah, no, it's exactly right. So just put in pastas, again, the same spiel. It helps us out the prize pool. Dan and I want to thank you guys for tuning in for the show match, by the way, as well. It was really fun. If you guys enjoyed that kind of thing, we'll do more of that in the future. Maybe Dan and I commentate other people playing like a serious match. I know that Rifkin, Zombie Grub want to lay down the gauntlet on an Archon match against me and Artosis as well. So we'll talk more about that in the future, but that's the kind of other alternative fun content we can do.
The VOD for that can be found on Base Trade TV's YouTube channel if you missed it.
There you go. Base Trade TV's YouTube channel. Make sure and check them out, but then head right on over to ArtosisTV for the superior YouTube content. Just kind of watch all those videos. And, 20 or 30 times. That's it for that. I will, of course, sell out later at the end of the show, but for right now, I appreciate you guys listening to me. Dan, I believe we have This Week in Starcraft to get through.
Yes, we do. I'm going to speed run it once again. Don't forget that no matter where you watch or listen to The Pylon Show, you can get a link to the show notes for that week. It's right in the description and everything. So if you want to learn more about any of these things that are going on in StarCraft, if anything piques your interest, then that is exactly where you want to go to check it out. So, doing this nice and quickly once again, the Passioncraft Open Season 9 is going on. You can check that out at passioncraft.challenge.com. It's about 250 euros and a lot of OSC points. We have the WESG qualifications still going on. Looks like Times made it in. Rail has made it in. Scarlet, Neeb, Silky, a lot of other players still on that ladder, including good friend of No Regret there, BioAce, trying to make it through. We have the Star Ladder Ultimate Series. It continues to move forward, a $7,000 prize pool, and a lot of the very top names in Foreigner StarCraft are in it right now. Like, in fact, I see a Neeb versus Serral match coming up, so that might be one that you really want to tune into.
Even Mon and Mouse is fun.
Yeah, that's a quality match right there, and the Laser's been doing well. I mean, this is some good stuff. Base Trade Star League Season 2 Cross Finals concluded. So you can go check out those VODs. Check out twitch.tv/Base Trade TV. Gumiho ended up winning at the end of the day. And, I just closed my window. Okay, here we go. Gumiho won at the end of the day over Raynor 4-3. So that looks pretty sick right there. And Puck actually made it pretty deep, taking out Cure. So some kind of surprise, interesting matches. Definitely something that I think would be worth your guys' time. We have the Wardy TV Summer Championships going on. Looks like Euthermal and Zest awaiting the winners of Nurcho, Raynor, Rogue, and Denver. Actually, I think that happened last night. I saw Denver tweeting that he won his match. So,
wow,
that would be
Denver
pretty
beat
interesting.
Rogue?
I think so, because I saw Denver being like, I have to play against Zest now. And I'm like, well, I'm seeing this bracket right here. So that tells me that he may have taken out the world champion. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, check that out at wardy.tv. Banshee tournament number 6, like many Banshee tournaments before, was won by Tilia. If you want to check more about this all-women's StarCraft tournament series, check out Zombie Grub on Twitter or twitch.tv/Zombie Grub. The Ladder Heroes is continuing forward. It looks like Jim Rising has had a good time lately, the Spanish commentator and pro gamer. And overall, all the top NA and SA players. I think he has a European division as well. Yeah, there we go. I see it. So you can definitely check that out. Done by Fear Dragon, and you can check out his wonderfully named website, ladderhero.es. It's a good name. I love how there's like so many dot something now that like you can make any sort of website you want. Remember when it was like just .com and .org?
Then .gg came out.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the 2018 TESPA Collegiate Series is continuing to go on. It is cast by Colt Terran and the pre-mentioned Fear Dragon. You can check that out at TESPA.org.
Look at that one guy.
We have a lot of high-end players, huh?
Just below Jon Snow, bitch-ass Chad. Doing really well for himself. Bitch-ass Chad.
He's tied with him in points, actually.
Not bad for him.
Yeah, no. You go, bitch-ass Chad. I wonder if that's his actual Battle.net ID. Can you actually make that?
I think it is.
But you can't.
He's sitting down and he's thinking,
some of them get through. I played someone that had a really funny name, too. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely...
Do you remember that you can't make the ID Toss Girl, which was a literal pro gamer in StarCraft 1, but you can make bitch-ass Chad. So congrats to bitch-ass Chad. You keep it up, man.
I'm excited for the bitch-ass clan to make its appearance here pretty soon.
Yeah. That would be a good clan for you, Jeff, now that EG's no longer here. Bitch-ass Jeff. That's pretty sick. All right. Afrika World 23 on Afrika TV. They're always getting really high-end players going into it. Looks like they just finished up number 23 with Kira winning it all. At the end of the day, a lot of strong Terran players if you want to check that out. And it looks like it will be on the YouTube channel of Laughing Games. He's been putting out a lot of content recently. Looks like he worked with Falcon Paladin, who, of course, puts out countless broadcasts. So check that out. The QCL Power Overwhelming Pro Team League run by Crank is still ongoing. This is a 7-week tournament with $4,000 on the line. And it looks like the winner bracket finals is the Innovation one-man team against Kimdo Songho. So that's a team of Innovation, Sue, and Zest. Oh, that's pretty badass, going up against a team of Trap, Cure, and Classic. And, of course, you can check that stuff off on Base Trade as well as Crank's channel if you prefer Korean cast to Base Trade, which means you would probably speak Korean or hate Base Trade. So,
thank you, Dan.
Yeah, no problem.
Here it is.
I'm freestyling this, man. Now for the most important part. The Pizza Pie Weekly, number 44. Unfortunately, Star Killer SC did not win his 18th pizza this week. Instead, Future took down Panda Bear Me in the finals and took home that delicious pie. Check that out on all-inspiration.challenge.com. All right, more upcoming tournaments. Don't forget, Home Story Cup is coming up a little bit after BlizzCon at the end of November. That is going to be number 18. And that'll be November 22nd through 25th. I'm quite sure that we will have a preview show before then, so we definitely will be recommending to watch that in the future as well. We have the Ting Open Season 5 qualifiers on Base Trade TV. A lot of those have already gone through. And, of course, you can check all that stuff over at Base Trade TV. And something called Who is the True Starcraft Master? It's an invitational tournament. Not just finding the best player of one race, but who's the best at playing them all.
Well, look at this.
Top pros fighting through. So I guess people are using their off races a little bit.
Wow.
Main races and off races. This is my little thing I'll be casting. So
that's from Pig.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they have to play every matchup. So there's going to be like some one-sided matches where it's like, okay, you've got to take their main race with your off race, but some of these guys have incredible off races. So we're hoping Scarlet can like take out some people's races with their Protoss, Hero Marine, and stuff. So it's going to be really weird to see like, a Terran and a Zerg play PvP versus each other and this sort of stuff. Like you're going to see these players who are incredibly good at stuff way out of their element sometimes, and other times showing like really good resourcefulness. It's going to be really cool to see who actually comes out on top. Fun way, I think, to get like a different style of StarCraft, especially since a bunch of these guys are playing in BlizzCon. So, they don't have to really show too much of their secrets or anything. And we're going to get to see who's the best all-round StarCraft player. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I would like to see the stats at the end of that, Pig, because according to the whining, of pro gamers, I would imagine that everyone's Protoss wins every single map, but I don't think that's how it's going to go. So I really like to get updates from you on how that ends up going.
And that's the way, right? The Terran player is just going to be like, if I have 36 High Templar with Storm in my army, I don't think I can lose this matchup. And I'm like, oh, these don't kill range liberators. Ah!
The first 2 Cyclones just kill them. They're like, what? How does that happen? All right. So good job on that, Pig. Definitely check that out. That'll be on your channel.
Yeah, my channel this October 20. So Sunday and Monday for all you US people. Late at night Europe, 10 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern US, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Nice. All right. Another upcoming tournament. On to the next thing is Online Sports Championship League, the OSC. You guys have been hearing about this for years. It's pretty ridiculous the amount of money that they actually give out. If you take a look at this, it's like Solar's won 5K. We have Hut has won almost 7K. Scyther's won over 7K. There's a lot of money going out. Look at Jeff. He's just grimacing. I need to start playing OSC. Yeah, man. He's killing it. So anyways, check out, they have this big bounty system and everything. Check out sc2online.com. And yeah, no, it's true. There's, it's weird because OSC is such a regular thing and it has been for so long. They give out so many prizes every year. So check it out. Huh?
Where is this even streamed?
Well, it's like a network of all most online tournaments are part of the OSC kind of system, right? So back in the day, OSC was it was just a bunch of Southeast Asian tournaments. There was like a weekly, like couple $100 cup, and then they started letting Koreans play, and then they kind of expanded to some NA tournaments, and now it's just this kind of nice way of organizing like a ton of online tournaments, so people can kind of get like participation awards if they like do kind of decently in a lot of tournaments, all that sort of stuff. And they just give out a ton of money. So it's actually really cool. It's been going for like 6 years, 7 years now.
No, that's amazing. I'm not hating on them at all. I'm sitting here. When you see someone like load up a gigantic big screen and then drive off to their trailer, you're like, how do they? How are they doing that?
Well, that's really funny. Are you following them to their trailer, or can you see it from the parking lot where you see them loading up?
Followed someone who just bought a big TV to their trailer? You never did that?
Yeah, I just followed them.
Listen, the analogy.
I gotta see where you live. This is the most important thing.
Stuff like I'm like, so yeah, they stream. Someone in the chat was saying they stream every day. I feel like anytime something like that's going on in StarCraft, and I've never heard of it, and I literally I drink StarCraft. I drink your StarCraft. I'm just consuming it the whole time. And if this is it's been going on 7 years. They've given out $500,000. I'm like, what? Is it like an underground railroad system of paying pro gamers? Like I'm seeing fucking Australian Hut making a small fortune. You know how much $8,000 is in Australia? It's like $8 million, dude. It's a lot of money.
Well, if it's USD, it's pretty good, right? The Australian dollars.
Oh yeah, what if this is 8,000 Australian dollars?
Well, then this is cheap as shit.
So definitely check this out, guys. A lot of tournaments going on, and that's at sc2online.com. Okay, the Kings of the North Probots Season 2, Week 3 over at ES Champ with Andy Man and Drexama. You can check that out. Another one of these AI tournaments. Speaking of AI tournaments, SC2 AI Ladder Tournament Season 6. Looks like it's starting in just a couple days. On October 20th is when it starts, and everything will be finished up by the 10th. And you can check that out at twitch.tv/StarCraft2AI. The Howling StarCraft Open Cup by Carewin is going to be going on in just 2 days, and the prize pool is $79.20, but they don't say what type of money that is. It doesn't say. This could be dollars, it could be euros, it could be pesos. We don't know. But you can check that out.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Enter into it. See what happens.
You don't know. It could be 79.20 Bitcoins, and then you're rich. Okay, so go play that.
Could be Monopoly money. Right. Just mail it to you, and you're like, here you
go. Yeah. Of course, there is the Ontario StarCraft 2 LAN coming up on Saturday, November 17th.
What?
Check
I've
it out.
never heard of this.
Well, you're not going to be there anyways. You're going to be in Korea at that time, so doesn't matter.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, no problem, bro. All right, the Friday night NA show matches from Laughing Games are coming up. Looks like they have Ruff versus Calabaricus. Great ID.
What is this?
Calabaricus?
Oh, you left with the name. The picture is.
Well, that too, but
He looks like Calabaricus. I don't know, Jeff. What's going on?
It looks like that. What's that series of pictures where you take porn and you draw over the top of it? It's like,
Oh my god. And the main event is Supernova versus Puck. Check it out, twitch.tv/Laughing Games. Yeah.
Hang on. We're not done. You're moving way too fast for me, all right? Because I'm still on OSA Esports. I'm still stuck there. And you flash this picture here. This is like the worst picture of Supernova I've ever seen. And then there's Puck. All right, we have to move on. I'm sure there's. I can't.
All right. No problem. Couple more things to get through. Some Inside the Scene number 11, look into StarCraft community organizers, again by ES Champ. Truxama and Ender Sword will be doing that. Looks like there was one with Olima League's Olivia. That was episode number 11, so definitely check that out. The Icy Far Challenge with Pig. You want to tell us about that real quick, Pig? Captain D-Head, apparently.
Yeah, Captain Dickhead. This is a traditional move where you basically pretend you're Huck, and you basically micro the crap out of a worker as long as you can. Maybe you do some hatch blocks, some pylon blocks, and you try to get your opponent to get annoyed as much as possible. So I'm hoping there might be a few angry, salty people in some replays sent in, or some people doing some creative stuff. Just a worker harassment challenge. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know what Icy Fire is, it's just Fun Day Monday, because I am a pale imitation of a man called Sean Plott. And we basically just copy exactly what he does, you know? If it ain't broken, don't fix it. So
when is it Hearthstone time? Just curious.
No, we skipped Hearthstone. We went straight to Magic the Gathering, actually.
Good play.
I'm following in his path. I study the master. I don't deviate, all right?
That's not wrong. Nothing wrong with that.
That sounds good.
I'm not up to... Yeah.
Blocks.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I haven't died in a car crash yet, but we'll get there.
Wow, thank God.
Not yet.
All right, a few more things.
That's the only time I'll laugh at that a dying in the car crash joke.
Hang on.
Just saying, guys.
This is the winning comment. Full Metal Protoss says, those pictures look like glamour shots from a modern day Sears. You don't have a Sears in Australia, do you, Pig? It is like a step up from Walmart is basically the best way to describe it. It's like
Sears is fancy, man. That's where you buy your washing machine.
That's actually what that picture is. Oh, that's so good.
All right. The breakdown with Root Cats. Episode 5 had a laser. Episode 6 has Masa, and that one was released. So check it out at youtube.com/We Are Cats. And Cats with a Z because he's cool.
Yep.
Incoming transmission number 19 with Winter is up on Nice YT channel by Nice username. All right, this one's very important. This next one.
I don't see it. So
Cats versus the AI. I don't know if you guys have seen Artificial Next. It's this show that's running on Twitch, but I've been watching it this morning.
Can we? You know what? Should we play a segment? Can we play a segment for our audience?
Huh?
I think we're gonna play a segment for our audience.
Okay.
With sound.
So I put some names in. Shall we answer some questions?
I'd like that.
Good.
This is
okay.
Like Smith's like, what's the problem? I interview these guys all the time.
Gamer and me, asked, how was your week since we talked last?
Eventful, as you will discover shortly.
It's like a Sarah interview.
DJ Carol asked, did Sophie read any Philip K. Dick stories?
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Okay.
Do animals dream of electric sheep?
So, Cats was on this show, and I haven't seen that episode yet because I just found out about this. But that is definitely something you're all going to want to check out. I guess he plays against her. You know what? I bet you he wins. I bet.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But can't wait to check it out. Anyways, it looks like TLO was...
I'm surprised we're moving on already.
We're moving on. We got to get through this, man. It's how long has it been? I don't know, but we're trying to keep it quick. People like it quick. You can always go
hang
back
on.
and check
Oh
all the
my
stuff
God.
out. in the show notes.
Let me do this.
Huh?
Dan, let me do this one, please.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So they were interviewed about fitness and being gamers. That's great. There's actually pictures of Tilo doing yoga if you read it. It's a very short one. But I have to say, I'm looking at this. I think it's fourth paragraph here. The fitness push has come too late for some longtime players. Nobody was showing us how to do stretches back in the day, says Nicholas Plot, 34, a veteran Starcraft player in South Korea, who recently was sidelined for 4 months. Can we... I feel like there's a sidelined... veteran. He is a veteran Starcraft player in that he played years ago. I do feel like it's a little misleading. I think the article took a little bit of creative liberty on that one. Like Nick was just on the warpath in Korea as a Starcraft player, and god dang, man, without these stretches, it really held me back.
Damn. Press F, pay respects. Well, that is a Wall Street Journal interview with TLO and Tasteless. So
Yeah.
check that one out on, I don't know, wherever you find the Wall Street Journal.
And hopefully Nick can recover so he can, get back into the
Being returned to taking the nerds' ladder points on the ladder.
Yeah.
Qualifying
Right,
for
looks like
TSL.
Beastie Cutie, who puts out a lot of video content, put out a video that he's doing to discuss various topics in StarCraft 2. He's talking about 5 ways to improve. And you can check that out.
Just 5, though? What if someone comes out with 6 ways to improve?
Well, that's how he gets more videos going, right? If you do more than 5 at a time, you got to cut these up a little bit.
You're right.
Yeah.
Is there is that a dog pillow in that picture, would you say, or is that an actual...
I don't think it's an actual dog.
Doggo pillow.
You don't think it's the dog?
All right.
Yeah.
No, that
It
looks
might
like a
be.
real dog. It's just
Yeah,
under the blanket. What?
It's
You
got
guys are dumb.
its head stuck in the bed just a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah. It looks healthy. Dank Shines, Who the Hell Is This? Is back with 3 interviews. Scythe's owner, Toast, who used to do the Dank Shine show, as well as a South African duo, Phoenix Tears and Lord of Terran. And Voldicus from VSL coming up. So you can check that out at twitch.tv/Dankshrine. Looks like Cyan's Chill Chats featuring Maynard. The VOD is up for that. It's conversation set to the background of SC2 Co-op. And Cyan would love to hear what you think. Check out Cyan Esports on YouTube. All right, this week in Brood War, have at you number 23 with Shamtu. It looks like a Juk 12 won once again over Eon Zerg. That is a pretty common way that tournament ends. So a Korean player coming in and winning that. The STPL, the Foreigner Brood War, Foreigner and Korean Brood War Online Team League, is continuing forward in round 3. I think that those are some old brackets there, but you can check that out with youtube.com/STPL TV. The BSL Bombastic Star League Season 5, kind of the biggest thing going on in the Foreigner scene for Brood War, does continue. They got basically all the non-Korean players are super active right now in this on the ladder, getting as high as they can.
What in the fuck?
What?
Boneth is 64-4. Eonzer 24-1.
Well, this is only against foreigners. All the ladder scores are up, but that is amazing nonetheless. Lots of good foreigner players that he has defeated. And Boneth, definitely one of the very, very strong non-Korean players, if not the strongest. And it basically it's like a who's who that's going on right now that Zero is hosting. And that is definitely, if you like Brood War, this is something you want to follow. Check out bombasticstarleague.com. At the end, they're qualifying for a couple different tournament systems that are going to be really cool and really fun to watch with all the top non-Koreans playing against each other. All right, so Brood War tournament up and coming. The 20th anniversary of Brood War, not StarCraft, of Brood War, is going to be in Moscow on November 11th. And it looks like Rapid and Cadenzi are both going to commentate, and there's even some Korean players going to play, and a lot of top European players will be there.
What's that?
So I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. It's pretty big. It's $19,000 and $481.45. I don't know how to read numbers. Oh my god.
Where's the
I said
45
dollars?
cents going?
I want to see the person who wins. Be like,
$9,000.
sorry, this is only I thought it was $7,000.45. Is that later? Or? I like it.
So they're gonna stream separately? They're both. I don't.
Oh,
It is a competition of casters. Will you
Yeah, I
check
guess
out
so.
the incredibly skilled?
I guess
Scottish
a lot
woman?
of games will be going on. It's a one-day tournament with 89 signups, so maybe it's like 2 streams to cover more games. Could be.
That makes sense.
All right, the SSC AIT6, that's a student StarCraft AI tournament, an AI Brood War tournament, is in its 6th year. You can check this out on twitch.tv/SSCAIT. The new tournament season begins in
Hang on.
November.
That's
Yes.
fine. Well, the clips URL is clips.twitch.tv/different thirsty otter peanut butter jelly time. So if you guys want to see that clip, like some robots battling it out. Sorry, I'm slowing you down. You're doing great. Let's keep going.
No, that's no problem. All right. A charities tournament in StarCraft 2. It's a collection for a little boy with cancer. It looks like this past week, Polish community of StarCraft 2 organized a charity for a 1-year-old boy named Ricio with stage 4 cancer neuroblastoma. Guru won in the finals over Art 3-0, and they raised $389. That's quite nice.
Well, that's awesome. They did that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. You guys can check out the NetWars Twitch for that. That's twitch.tv/NetWars1998. All right. Also, don't forget the Pylon Show will be at BlizzCon. I guess that's going to be at 1:30 p.m. This is the one time you can actually ask what time it's at.
Yeah. This will ruin us forever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the show's always on the same day, same time. They'll be like, "No, it wasn't at BlizzCon." I'll be like,
So make sure that you get your Pylon fix. I don't know if we'll have a show in between here and then, but maybe we'll have one. We'll see. And then also they are still selling backstage passes for BlizzCon opening week. You can check that out at wcs.starcraft2.com. Also, if you do get a ticket for like watching the BlizzCon stuff, you get the BlizzCon goodies for the online play, right?
Thanks.
And for StarCraft 2, that is skins that look like the StarCraft 1 probe, SCV, and drone. But I was like looking at it, and the SCV one is so small and so skinny, and StarCraft 1 SCV, like the style of art is similar, but it's very small comparatively. StarCraft 1 SCVs are huge, but
did
they
their
look
best.
good. They're good looking skins. I especially like the probe.
They did
I think the
best
probe
they
is
could.
sexy.
Yeah.
And me and No Regret were actually watching Roddy's stream last night. Watched him try them all out. Roddy thought the same thing. He's like, the SCV looks small. It's like, yeah, it does. Anyways, they're very good skins, and there's a new like console overlay for Brood War if you're into that. And there's also a bunch of portraits coming out. They look
Sick.
amazing.
Sarah's looks so
I
cool.
can't wait to use WCS
Yes,
Haas
it does.
portrait and play macro games with it. People are going to get so confused.
Hero Marines looks a little bit like a propaganda poster, and I do take some umbrage with that, I suppose. Because I don't get the same vibes from Lambos. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Lambos, like that's fine. You look at Hero Marines, you're like, I kind of want to raise a child army. You know what I mean? Like,
I like specials and zests. Special looks like he's a corpse, kind of. Look at it.
He's got that zombie cheek kind of
Zest looks-
going. Yeah.
he's got quite the
Evil.
jawline in that picture. I would say Neebs is cool. I like what they did with his eyes. That
Yeah,
looks really
classic Dark and Neeb all look amazing. Oh, Sarah
What
looks
about
really good.
Cyril? Yeah, Cyril's looks the best, I think, so
Cyril.
far.
And look at SOS just grinning there. He's like,
Yeah.
they don't get it. I'm going to win.
God,
I love it.
Marius is a little weird to me. I don't know.
Mario
if
looks
it's
like
the way
MC
he's
to
looking.
me in his one.
That's
Huh.
racist.
Is it just me that sees that?
Yeah, that's
Hold
just
on.
that's
How about
Fine,
Has? Has didn't really capture
Yeah, a
there, I
little
don't
bit.
think.
Yeah. Asses looks good. Okay, enough of that.
Should have put
we had
a cannon or something there.
we had a little patch. It fixed cooldown on Stalker and Dark Templar's blink ability. It doesn't get paused under the effects of fungal growth. Also, it fixed some stuff in the campaign and co-op, and the trophies have been added and all that stuff. And apparently, a hallucination of a disruptor using Golden Age skin will no longer appear practically invisible. That was a very pressing matter. My invisible disruptor hallucinations, that was really ruining play. And I guess Blizzard Entertainment confirms that they will host a StarCraft Community Summit for 2018. Okay, and there's a hype trailer for BlizzCon by Fear Dragon. You can check out on his YouTube.
Very cool.
And don't forget the Signature Series videos. I think this wraps it up. They released specials, and they will release Rogues, I believe, tomorrow. And specials is awesome, as was Maru's. I can't wait to see these next two. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah,
I believe you said it was the pound for pound best content on Earth.
It is minute for minute. It's like what, 3 minutes or something, and there's nothing that has like that percentage of awesome in that for that, right?
Look at that right there.
Like, think of the best movie you ever saw. Not every minute's amazing, but every minute in these little videos is amazing. Pound for pound, Jeff.
Have you seen the Geico commercial where Washington's crossing the freeway in a boat?
No, I haven't seen it.
Minute for minute, that might be the best content ever made in the world. It's pretty amazing.
It's probably not even a minute long, Jeff.
Well, second to second, that is.
Okay. Now I get you. But yeah, there you go. That's this week in StarCraft. Give some feedback. This one was a little bit longer than last time. Maybe I took too long on it. But anyways, let's get into the actual show.
My name is Juan Carlos Tenio Lopez.
I'm a StarCraft 2 pro gamer.
God, Cyril Laney, I'm so glad that they are doing his pictures correctly, by the way. He's not even like necessarily a bad guy, and it's not even that he's made into the bad guy, but he's just kind of pictured as the bad guy, but it kind of makes it badass. It's funny. I haven't seen that in a while. Kind of they did it with Zest a little bit, and every time Zest talked, they're like, how do you feel? He's like, I just want to play StarCraft. I'm like, okay, never mind. Anyways, so this is the BlizzCon preview show. It's going to be the big, meaty topic here. We've got some other stuff to cover as well, but for the most part, we want this to be your one-stop talk about the bracket, talk about what you can kind of expect, the storylines, that kind of a thing. We brought on two of the absolute experts in the scene to do that, in No Regret and Pig. So let me take a look at the subjects here. I don't have them. They're on the left side monitor. Cobra. We can scroll down. Barris, no lick your paw. There's hundreds of people hearing that. There it is. The first topic, WCS bracket and the road to BlizzCon. So let's pull up the bracket, I think is one of the first things to do. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I haven't seen the bracket, actually, until this moment right now.
Damn.
So there it is in all of its glory. And just to kind of, again, really affirm the schedule of this, guys, the first weekend of this all going down is the weekend of the 26th, which is 9 days away from now. So it's not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that. So it's very, very
crazy.
soon. And they are flying out a lot of the talent early. They're going to be doing a lot of videos. We're all going to be making sure we're well-read and informed on this and bring to you guys the best show possible. And it has to be, because I'm missing the other biggest Warhammer tournament of the year on that weekend. But that's how much I fucking love StarCraft, and I love you guys. Okay? Let's talk about Group A. First of all, we got two Terrans, a Protoss, and a Zerg, so great balance there. Just your guys' thoughts in general. I want to hear from No Regret in terms of like the Korean players. We're looking at TY and Maru here in the same effing group.
I mean, I think Foreigner versus Terran is already pretty lackluster compared to Korean versus Terran. And we have the best two Terrans in all of Korea here, by far. I think TY and Maru playing, when you watch their GSL finals, you think definitely these are the best two Terrans in the world. So this is going to be extremely hard for both of them, I think.
I have a tough time looking at this and not seeing TY and Maru make it out. And I'm not even saying that as like TY Maru fanboys. Like I think if the group's configured a little bit differently, and I'm not talking a third Korean, I mean other non-Korean matchups. I agree with No Regret. I think Neeb and Lambo.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard for them.
No way, right?
Yeah, and Neeb hasn't been in Korea. Like when he played GSL, he was in Korea. He was practicing with a lot of Terrans for that matchup. And it's not the same when you're in Europe and North America. There aren't an infinite amount of Terrans. You pretty much have Hero Marine and Thermal, and that's it for like really competitive Terran players.
Is he back in New York? He went home?
Yeah, he's been home for maybe 3 months now. So he's pretty much lost that 3-month window where he could have practiced with Korean Terrans. So
he
I'm scared
doesn't
for him.
practice Korea. He can't do that from East Coast very well, right? Like it's too
No, he
laggy
can't.
for him.
He can't. It would
He
be
just
like
plays
400
ladder, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably practicing with Europeans, then I would imagine, for the most
Yeah,
part, and
he
obviously the good NA players.
probably Hero Marine. I mean, he can't even do it with Juan because Juan's here. So it'd have to be Hero Marine or Euthermal, and that's it, basically. Maybe Soul.
Yeah. Diego as well, I guess. Soul, yeah.
And TY's been living here for the last week or two, so whew, he's got all that special practice here, you know?
TY is gonna open with a 13-12. We're like, wow, no regret really had an effect. Like this coaching's pulling off. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
but him and Special have been like talking a lot and preparing strategies and stuff, so I think they're going to be really prepared.
I hope that
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough.
I think there's a chance that Lambo surprises a little bit. The funny thing about that is that there's this like you can reach up a tier and get there and surprise people, but I feel like reaching up to Maru and TY, who specifically in TVZ is just so good, and of course Maru, I'm not leaving him out. I just mean that TY is like the other TVZ killer. I don't know. Like Lambo can look at this group and say, against Neeb, I probably feel pretty confident. His ZVP has always been his best matchup. He's playing a lot of Protoss in that European scene. So he's going to be cranking out hardcore ZVT, but getting to a place, and he's had about a month or two or whatever, to beat Maru and TY. And that European scene is so hard. It's just Hero Marine, it's just Euthermal, and then like the occasional good day from a couple other guys, right? Like it is very little.
Yeah, this group is so crazy. Like the problem I have with this group, Group A, is like, I mean, Neeb and Lambo are good and all, but everyone's talking about Serral and Maru. And then right behind them, in likelihood to win BlizzCon, I think you got to put like TY Rogue or something, right? So like TY's right there. Yeah. I think that he is like one of the big favorites where like if he wins, it's not a surprise, it's not upset. It's like, yeah, he's TY. He's been on fire for years now. So it's just, and it's always like the Korean Terrans that are that other level, right? That's really hard because you can't even prepare for them because they are so good. You know, you always hear the foreigner Terrans be like, oh, just play like TY. You know, it's like a meme. It's right. If something goes wrong, it's like, yeah, we'll play more like TY. Well, TY and Maru are such another level. How do you even prep for that?
Do we know if it's 1-2 versus 3-4? Is that how this is illustrated, or do we not know who they're playing first?
We've got Maru versus Lambo first, TY versus Neeb, the starting matches.
Yeah. Is that how it is for all four of the? Is that graphics?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we agree TY Maru pretty handily. The storyline for me from this is going to be, can Lambo pull an upset, and it would be in the ZVT matchup. It's going to be, can anyone dislodge like TY for second? Is going to be the question, and it's really hard to see that happening. And then Neeb, he's a little bit of a question mark, right? Like we've had this weird thing where if Neeb is not really feeling it or kind of out of sorts, he goes out really disappointingly. We've had that at BlizzCon as well, but then we've got this other Neeb too, who like, for whatever reason, is super feeling it, and he can beat anybody, and that includes the Korean Terrans. We've seen that as well. So that is the X factor here, right?
I think a lot of people forget the Chinese tournament this year. Because it wasn't streamed live like in English. It was streamed like a few days later by like Wardy and stuff, and a lot of people just kind of forget that happened. But it's like, no, Neeb like just crushed through a couple of the top guys, and when that Neeb shows up, he's very powerful. And, I think if Jake hadn't just kind of pointed out the practice situation, I'd be like, no, I mean, if the good Neeb shows up, like he can make things go well, but it's just the way the TVP matchup is going recently. If he hasn't been practicing against that caliber of Terran and also the range of Terrans, it's about playing against enough different people because TY's whole TVP is making you uncomfortable and just doing weird things that throw you off balance. And it's just very, very hard to deal with that. These are still best of 3 sets, though. That's where my hope comes from. That's what gives him a percentage. Like in a best of 5, I feel like his chances go down drastically. In a best of 3, it's just 2 maps. It can happen.
Yeah, and I'll say that's a good point, by the way, Pig. Thank you. I do want to say, just to go on record, like just to keep it real, we don't need to make a whole topic out of it or whatever, and you guys can share your thoughts for sure, but I am super disappointed that these are all best of 3s. I think that is criminal. I know it's the tournament before the big tournament, so that's kind of the idea behind it. In the past, it's been best of 3s, but in Legacy of the Void, you play a best of 5 in like an hour 10, tops almost. Obviously, if you have a couple of long games, it can go shorter. But then you get a ZVZ, and the whole thing's played out in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no
regularly
argument.
25-minute series.
These guys
It
are
happens
flying
all the
out to
time.
decide who's the world champion. They're playing for life-changing money. Pig just said something that like gives us as foreigners hope, but makes me kind of sad for the competitors because like
I actually think best of 3 favors the Terran player in this situation.
wow.
Like in reverse, because I think in a best of 5, especially if you're TY, there's only so much shit you can actually do that's crazy, and like he has only so much to actually prepare like these really weird strategies because he doesn't just play straight up macro games every game. So in a best of 2, when you only have to throw out 2 strats and possibly just win the series right there, it's a lot easier for him. Whereas Neeb, who wants to be on the receiving end and wants to defend it and be in his comfortable position, when he gets a best of 5, he has way more opportunity to do that.
The counterpoint though
But it
is to those players doing those weird builds. Maybe they just get unlucky or get poorly executed. There's no recovery
Sure.
time. Like you do a proxy and the probe scouts it and then drops a pylon where you're supposed to do a transfer of buildings and add-ons and you just die. It's like, does someone feel like the better
I
player won
agree.
there?
You can get unlucky. In a best of 5, that can happen too. So
Yeah, but it's mitigated by it happens. If it happens, you have more games to recover. Whereas in a best of 3, you don't.
sure. But I think that plays more for Neeb than it does for TY. Like being able to recover and being able to continue the series is
That's
probably
fine.
more
That's
important
fine.
for Neeb.
I was
But yeah, I
talking
think
about
this is
gravy, and you were like,
personal.
"I like mashed potatoes," and I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I like mashed potatoes." But my point is like, best of 3s are not good in this scenario. You're saying it favors Terran and stuff. That's fine. I don't care really. My point is, I want to see these guys play longer and definitive series so that I
Yeah, I
can
think
come away
best
from
of
this
5
saying,
should definitely be the standard for this.
yeah.
It's become that way with every other tournament with Legacy. So yeah, I think definitely for the end of year. I mean, it's yeah, GSL we still see best of 3 groups, but yeah, it should be best of 5s for sure. So going to be some quick series there. It's always got to be disappointing if you got 0-4 at BlizzCon, man. That's got to be such a kick in the head.
A little bit. They get $10,000. If I go 0-4 and someone hands me $10,000, I'm like, well, this was okay.
Fair point, Jeff.
That's why it's such a big deal. Like Lambo had such a funny story because he needed Cyril to win, and it was like obvious that Cyril was going to win. Then Raynor made it really close, and all of a sudden Lambo was like, because that's actually $10,000 for him, even just taking last there.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Group B: Zest, Hero Marine, SOS, and Cyril. And somebody in the chat, by the way, said that those are not the matchups in Group C and D. So we'll get to that in a second. But
Yeah, that's
Group
right.
B
It's
is
Korean
correct.
versus foreigner first round and everything.
Okay, so Zest versus Hero Marine. And SOS versus Cyril. I want to go to Dan first because you said that SOS is winning this thing. He's losing his first game of this series.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see about that.
Get out.
Why do you habitually underestimate SOS? I remember the year that he won his second championship. You were talking trash the whole time. SOS, no, he's not going to win. No
Jeff
way.
was talking trash the whole time?
Yeah.
Really? What?
Listen, SOS has never lost BlizzCon. Has he ever lost BlizzCon?
You did that in the wrong order, buddy. Okay? You answered a question, then you asked it.
Well, I'm giving you the answer, Jeff, so you don't look like the
So you're-
fool that you look like right now. Listen,
okay. So you're saying
I
SOS
know
beats
that
Cyril
everyone's talking about Cyril, but SOS, how long does he have? He has a month to prepare weird builds to kill
Dan,
Cyril with?
Put it on paper. SOS beats Cyril here? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh my god.
I think that SOS is going to get his way out of this group, and I think that this is another tough group because I see like SOS you cannot underestimate in these tournaments, man. He's just like he turns it on. You saw that reverse all kill. Who did he reverse all kill in Super Tournament?
Your name
It was Solar, yeah.
on the ground here. Tell me. You're saying SOS beats Cyril, or you're going to say, I don't know, he just makes it out of the group.
I think it's possible, but
Let me
not
think about
likely.
it for a
Thanks
minute.
for coming on, guys, to this expert panel of everyone just being like, anybody could, he could win.
Well, it's actually hard to predict SOS specifically, right? Like SOS has such a wide
I
range.
have
of
no
just-
problem. I'm telling you,
monster and
Cyril
then-
beats him. It's easy for me to say that. Are you kidding me?
I
Cyril
don't
smashed
think
him.
it's that clear cut.
You're so brave, Jeff.
Especially
I'm so
after
brave.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Look
we'll
how
see,
brave I
guess.
am. Yeah. Okay, you guys think
I'm
that's
with
fun?
Jeff. I
Screw it,
think,
man.
I think
SOS
Cyril's
tops is-
so solid, man.
SOS is going to top his group, man.
I think if I didn't watch Montreal, where it was like series that were going 3-2 every single time, I would feel
Yeah.
more favored for Cyril.
Fair point.
But SOS, it's kind of in a secret like bubble right now, and that's pretty scary to me. Like when you have all this time as SOS, someone who's already fucking scary,
Yeah.
to actually prepare strategies for you specifically at a a team house advantage. It's just like, I
Yeah.
think that you can definitely find stuff that he can do.
I'm
the
so happy you're
question
here, by
is
the way,
if
because
you'll be able to do it.
brave enough to disagree with us, and I appreciate that.
Hold on, I got more to say about SOS Sarah, because the more I'm thinking about it
is
now.
that anything can happen though, Dan? Because I can just
No, it's not that anything can happen. I know what's going to happen.
Real opinion. I could just
When you
play
look
a
back,
sound.
when you look back to Cyril versus Haas, right? SOS is going to find those VODs before BlizzCon, and he's going to watch those and be like, "But I can do all this 10 times better than Haas can." Okay. And
So you think-
Cyril was almost lost like 3 of those games, man, against Haas.
Yeah. His defenses on the cannon rushes was actually pretty bad. So if Cyril does the same defense against cannon rushes, I'm totally with you, Dan. I was going to bring up Valencia as the scary one, because those games I have as my sub alert sound on my stream. You and Nick losing your fucking mind on that that 4-player map, because you're like,
oh, that's excellent.
You guys are just screaming like at this high pitch, because it's just the funniest thing listening to YouTube. You're like, what the hell, he's beating Cyril? and there's like the proxy, there's the Oracle follow up, and it's like underneath an Overlord, and Cyril's like so dead in this game, but then Haas's follow up was really poor. He like showed it to him. It was like the most all-in mass Oracle follow up, and this Overlord's watching it, and there's like 4 minutes for Cyril to prepare, and it was like, oh, SOS wins this game 100% after that cannon rush. And there was multiple games where Cyril barely broke the cannon rush, like barely broke through with his Ravager Ling. So, yeah, I think if Cyril, he fixes that defense, I still think he beats SOS. I still favor him here for sure. But there's hope. There's hope for SOS. And I think the other 3 matches, or the other couple of matches, are the really weird ones. Like, we're not even talking about Hero Marine. But Hero Marine's the guy who we're all kind of sleeping on. He's been consistent. He's been good. But Hero Marine has just been so consistent. And he's so confident. And I think his biggest strength is he doesn't get phased by anything. Have you guys ever seen Hero Marine nervous at a tournament before?
Dude, no.
It just doesn't happen. He doesn't give a he's been playing since he's like 14 years old or something. Like at
5
big
years,
tournaments, he's like a little kid at Home Story Cup competing. He doesn't care. So
what about Zest? Have you seen Zest nervous?
I haven't, but I've seen Zest not nervous floating 3,000 minerals in a lot of games as well. So
yeah, that's just we can warp in 30 zealots though.
Off those 7 gateways, yeah.
I do. Pig brings up a good point earlier, though. We're all over the place, but that's okay. I like this discussion about this. But Cyril did look more human than ever at this last WCS stop. What I would say about that is that they were all ZVZ, which is kind of weird. And he's not playing another ZVZ in this group at all. So he looks at this and says, I'm playing Terran and Protoss, quite possibly 2 Protoss. Even though I think Hero Marine does have a good chance to beat Zest, I think Zest has that annoying thing where everyone's like, oh, Zest probably loses that one. And then he just wins. Like all of them. And then he gets to like 3rd or 4th or the finals and then loses. But the entire time, everyone's like, yeah, Zest shouldn't win that. Yeah, he did. That's okay.
I feel like Zest's weakness is like, the way I understand him this year as a player is there's guys like Cyril, Rogue, Maru, especially Maru. Maru's the standout. He's the best example of a player who, no matter what happens in the game, he just goes with the flow, and he just can adjust and adapt as things happen, and he can kind of play at all stages, and he can very quickly change his plan. When things go out of Zest's control, out of his like understanding of where he wanted the game to go, he can fall apart like drastically, and you see like this other side of Zest. But when the things are going the way Zest understands, he's like just the crispest. I think, Dan, you always talk about his kind of timing attacks and that sort of stuff, and I think it's just this weird thing where the weirder games get, Zest struggles. Hero Marine's a relatively straightforward player, but I don't think even Hero Marine will play straightforward Terran versus Protoss, because that's not what we've seen in a while. When was the last time you saw a Terran just open up with a Reaper expand every game? It's not happening. It's not the meta right now, at least as far as I know. Maybe Jake knows more about it since he's there living with the top guys.
I have to break in real quick. We just had a breaking StarCraft announcement. Just now it was announced. We'll come back to this topic, obviously. KSL versus ASL is going to be played at BlizzCon. You're going to get a nice big series for StarCraft Remastered. It's going to be Bisu versus Jaedong, I believe.
Ooh!
No, wait. No. That was the old one. What's the new one?
Nope.
What is it? I didn't read this whole thing.
Well, if it's ASL versus KSL, it should probably be the winner of each league against each other, or...
And it hasn't been decided yet, right? There's no...
Is it KSL Season 3 winner
looks
or
like-
Season
Wait
2?
a sec.
Oh,
Reigning
last
KSL
versus Reign.
champion last.
Last
Yeah,
versus Reign.
oh, that makes sense.
That's
yeah.
it? It's last versus
Oh,
Reign?
it's last first ring. Yeah, okay. That does make sense because last is in the top 4 right now, so he might win both, and that would be really a bad show match of last just
Is that
being
what
on
it
stage.
is? That's the announcement?
Yes.
Last versus Reign.
Sick.
That's
So-
going to be good.
If you're like, I now need to get to BlizzCon, you're totally fucked. But you can watch it online. You can check it
It's
out
true.
there. Anyways, so
So-
that's a big deal. That's announced. It's awesome. We can talk more. I mean, that's about it, though. It's just be cool and fun to watch. Is
Okay, guys, we'll see you next time.
Is Tasteless gonna cast it? Is Tasteless and Artosis gonna cast that, Dan?
I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't, but I guess
Actually-
we'll see.
That's funny. I want to get your reaction. They have actually, if you go back to that article, go ahead. It is going
What's it say?
to be Team Salmon. They're bringing them in.
Oh, sick.
No, I'm
Well
just kidding.
deserved.
I want to see your reaction. It's not. No, they're not. It's going to be you guys. They're going to ask you. They're going to ask you at BlizzCon and pay you nothing for it because that's the way it rolls. You're sick. All right, so Group B.
I think
I
this
like
is
it.
actually the easiest group from a foreigner's perspective.
Oh, for
yes.
four. Okay. Jeez Louise. The ending of that statement.
So,
Wait,
like,
Group B?
Yeah, Group B. So SOS and Zest is probably, as a foreigner perspective, when you're preparing for most likely just a Protoss matchup. When you're looking at all the other groups, I think this is by far the easiest. Maybe like SOS is still scary, and Zest I think is not as good as someone like Classic or Stats.
There it is again. We're always down. I agree with you, but that's what always happens. But and you know we're making fun of this, but there is a thing. There is momentum, and it is funny. The SOS at $100,000 tournaments or more is something else. It's just weird. He's willing to take these risks. Like if you want to go super armchair about it, it is part of that. They're playing for so much money. If you make it out of this group, I don't think we have the prize pool in front of us, but what is it? It's like $20,000, isn't it? Like if you make it out of the group, and you're
21, yeah.
$21,000. You kidding me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a lot of money. So that's why SOS excels, because if you look at him, he's like the avatar of Haz. There's no soul. There's no awareness of what's going on. Like he's not. He sees things in pylons and cannons. He doesn't see in like normal vision. And he's willing to take gambles that everyone else is playing conservative and safe.
Yeah. His freestyling like knows no bounds, and there's no nerves in the man. You can't shake him. He will bring things you've never seen. Pig was talking about people reacting to the flow of the game. SOS creates the flow of the game and can react to absolutely anything. If there's any way for him to win a game, he knows what it is and he goes after it. So like, I mean, there's so many things about him.
Yeah.
He injects chaos into games so often that it's hard for anyone to deal with. And it's hard to prepare for him as well. Like, yeah, Cyril's really good, but Cyril is a good macro Zerg. Like SOS can practice with Rogue and other top Zergs in Korea and get a very good macro Zerg to go up against. What the hell do you do to practice for SOS, who's going to bring things that you don't even know what they are? You
I
might
know.
never have seen it.
Where are you going to find
this
some
is-
cheesy Protoss players?
It's not even like cheesy either, though.
Yeah, no, it's something else, Jeff.
Where are you going to find these Protoss players that are just winging it, doing crazy weird shit that might or might not work? I mean, it's not
On
like
the ladder, perhaps, but they aren't going to be SOS
Every
level.
Protoss.
They aren't going to be SOS level!
Yeah, I think SOS definitely can make an upset here. Like when we're talking about potential upsets against Sarah, I think it's very possible.
I agree with your comment, though. I think it's funny because this group also very well could be Hero Marine and Cyril make it out.
It's very possible too, yeah. That's the problem with SOS. I think there's a lot of times where we're just really dominant. And there's other times where you just feel like, what's going on here? This isn't even that good. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes his
he had
stuff
like
goes
a picture
wrong.
in his, yeah, like he had a picture in his mind. And it's like way off of what he expected it was going to happen. It just looks bad. But I highly doubt SOS will look bad at BlizzCon.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, there have been those moments, right? Was it the finals versus like Beyond in GSL where SOS was like, okay, I've got a Colossi, I've got 2 Forges, I've got a Void Ray over here, and a Phoenix over here, and an Oracle here, and Beyond's like poking with his bio, and he's like, that's a Colossi and 2 Sentries, and he just like stims and wins the game, and I was like, there was like multiple games in that grand finals where I was like, what are you doing, SOS? But as you've been saying, we keep saying it, he's never done that at BlizzCon. Maybe he breaks the pattern this time around. Maybe he, just steps it up again. But yeah, I think Group C is really interesting for me because I feel like we guys done? We can move on to
No,
Group
yeah,
C,
let's
or-
segue.
Yeah, we can
Take
go
it
for
away.
We're kind of just talking.
Oh, and
Um,
just to put it out there, it's Stats versus Haas in Group C and Dark versus Showtime.
Sick.
And this is cool because I feel like Dark is, I feel like he's paled a little bit this year. You know, he's not quite as scary as he was. Whenever I open Dark stream, I think, great, this is a really awesome Zerg player. And whenever he's playing Zerg, he looks really sad. He's losing to like Terran players or Protoss players, and then he just starts off racing. And I'm like, So I wonder if you have any inside knowledge, Jake. Is Dark like still just as scary in practice? Is it just on his stream where he messes around? I feel like he always looks like he's upset when he's on stream. I don't know what's going on with him.
Dark is pretty underrated, honestly. I think he's really, really good, especially when it comes to Protoss. When you watch his early builds, like his early timings, even if they fail or just do not what they're supposed to do, he's just ahead, especially against foreigners. Like especially when you watch Neeb, and I guess that's the biggest representation of him versus foreigners, where he just absolutely dominates. I don't know if that's just a Neeb thing, but
Yeah.
I think Showtime is a little bit more solid in the early game. But Dark is so good at just abusing you, finding your weakness and abusing it. So I think with Dark being able to prepare for this group, there's very limited chance that he doesn't get out, especially when it's all Protoss, all three. Like, this is one of these groups that you can just sit down and be like, well, I have a Protoss. And you have such a huge edge over everyone else, right? Everyone else has to practice for both Protoss and Zerg. He literally only has to prepare for Protoss.
And sometimes what happens in this kind of a group, other than Showtime, is that they do the math and say, "I'll let Dark be the guy that beats me. I'm gonna win PvP. I'm gonna win 2 PvPs."
It's very possible too, yeah.
And say, "I'm just working on PvP."
I think Dark definitely has an edge over Showtime, certainly. If it was a best of 5, I would give him an even larger edge than best of 3. I think the way he plays and his playstyle could lend himself to be worse in a best of 3. Like we said, if things go wrong, like there's less games to recover. But yeah,
I'm excited for it. Showtime, by the way, it was looking more in old form. He had his ups and downs at Montreal, but his ups were looking really good, and it was off that defensive PvZ play. And he is a preparer, by the way. Like, I have my questions about Neeb. He's been lacking a little bit of motivation, it feels like, of some of the stories we're hearing kind of come out this year. This year's been very up and down for him. For Showtime, this year's been mostly going up. It started off pretty rough, and it came off of a year before where it certainly was rough, and it's been getting better. Is he good enough to beat Dark? I think so. And we've already seen him beat Stats. And then I'm going to just point this again at my good buddy here. You going to try and say Haz making out of this group? You going to do that?
There's a real possibility, my friend. When I saw this.
Did you see him in Montreal? Did you watch Montreal? Did you watch Montreal?
Are you guys kidding me again?
Is your brain in Spain still, Dan? Is your brain still in Spain?
Guys, you can have a bad tournament, okay? Especially when you play like Haas. But we're talking best of 3s, GSL group format, right? Haas has a real potential to get out of this group, okay? He's going to come in with the craziest all-ins. It's hard to prepare for that stuff. You think he can't hide a Dark Shrine as well as anybody? He can do that. You think he can't proxy an Oracle and get there before your shield battery's up? He could do that.
You know what? Let me get some actual opinions out of you, because I'm gonna wring this rag of just soppy, mediocre opinions. Who in this group does he beat? Look at this group and tell me who he beats. Don't say coulds. Don't be like he can hide a Dark Shrine. I don't have you on the show, and people are paying $1,000 so you can be like, he can make Dark Templar. Yeah, okay. But look at this group. Who does he beat?
Okay, so I think he can beat Showtime again. But the thing is, I look at the group, and for me, Stats at this BlizzCon, if he doesn't top 4, something's wrong. Like, he's in such good shape. Like, I would imagine that he's going to get out of here. And Dark generally doesn't lose to foreigners, but, you know.
Ever. Like, yeah, I think it's very limited chance that Dark does lose to these both of foreigners.
The thing is, everyone is just like, there's no chance for Haas. And I don't think that Haas will actually make it out of the group. But I think it's more likely that Haas gets out of this group than... Let me say. I think it's more likely that Haas gets out of the group than Lambo gets out of his group. And I think it's maybe slightly less likely than Hero Marine getting out of his group. And it's probably on par with Nurcho getting out of his group. I don't know. I think that Haas is like still underrated. Yeah. There you go, Jeff. Was that enough for you? I don't know. What do you want from me?
That was better. I appreciate that.
What map pool? Are we using the current map pool for this?
Yeah.
Because I remember trying to look this up and I couldn't find it actually like
I
listed.
believe we are using this map.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's to be
I was
announced
thinking-
on this, but I think it's definitely the BlizzCon or the ladder pool right now.
Yes,
I want to hear
it
Jake's
is.
thoughts on. I mean, there's a lot of Zerg versus Protoss just generally throughout these matchups, especially with that group there, but also the next one with Classic Nurture Rogue. Swarm hosts and these Queen Roach Swarm host builds. There's the European variation, which is like a normal 3-base CVP, into Swarm hosts, which is just killing people on Dreamcatcher a lot, especially. But it's also Lambo's been doing really good with it on Blue Shift and and a few of these other maps, and obviously. Dark and Rogue pull out the version, which I despise, where you just kind of, Dark did it versus Neeb on Dreamcatcher, the 2-base Swarm host, where you kind of just do a really weird Roach opening. The Protoss gets really confused because the Zerg isn't taking a third. 8 minutes later, some Swarm hosts show up, and if the Protoss didn't push, they die. There's a lot of Swarm host variations, and I feel like the maps, Fracture as well is pretty good for Swarm host play, right? Do you think this is something we're going to see a bunch of, Jake?
I think definitely in this group from Dark, like this makes a lot of sense. I think he's really good with it. The map pool definitely lends itself to be strong. Like Dreamcatcher, insanely strong for Swarm hosts. Fracture, really good. Almost every single one of these maps I feel is okay. I don't think any of them have a real weakness for Swarm hosts. So I think it's a good thing to practice. Like I don't see any disadvantages of doing it. The nice thing about Dark's build with that Roach into Swarm host thing is you can actually force overreactions and scout those. And if they don't overreact, you can just kill them with the Roaches. And if they do overreact, then you kill them with the Swarm host. It's just like a win-win in general.
I feel like the 3-base version is just better because you have so little flexibility off the 2-base. Like it's sometimes you can kill them, but like you look at like the game of Neeb versus Dark, and it's just I don't know. I just hate that build a lot because it's just like if Zerg doesn't have a third hatch, they're so inflexible. You can do a lot of things and stay safe as Protoss and just get ahead if you play a proper game.
This is a Dreamcatcher only thing too. Like you're never gonna see like on Parasite that build, which never worked. Right? Like it would take forever to get there.
Wait. If we see Parasite, we'll see the Acolyte build, right? With like the old Nidus Swarm host that Rogue pulled out versus Neeb last year at BlizzCon.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll see that one again.
Could be good, yeah. I think Dreamcatcher though, that's like a Dreamcatcher specific build. The rush distance is just so quick on it, and Swarmhosts are just so strong on it as well. But yeah, I don't think it's that good on any other map. I don't think it's good at all.
What about so not on Fracture and Blue Shift? Do you think it's just
Fracture is not? It's not that good. Like the wall's pretty easy. It can be okay, but I think the biggest thing is the rush distance. Honestly, like I'm trying to think.
Well, you mean because it's too hard for Zerg to get up to the Swarm host, so the Protoss can rush them, or you mean the rush distance?
No,
is good
like your Roach timing just does nothing if the rush distance is long enough. Like you actually have to do something. You have to force that overreaction.
Well, what about like I think like the 3-base Swarm host though? I mean, I feel like
3-base good on Fracture.
If you do like the Lambo style on Fracture or Blue Shift, you're just gonna like get some maps going in there. So I think that's like something
on any map you're in a good spot.
You're doing that caster thing where we're talking about specifically Swarm host for 10 minutes, and then at BlizzCon there'll be 0 made, and we'll be like, well,
it's definitely gonna be Swarm host.
No, I'm just you know how it happens. You know, it doesn't.
Of course. I just want to think about that because that's like it's just one of those things where Showtime has looked so good in PvZ, and I've seen a few series where he looks like he's getting momentum and this like wave of Swarmers kills a Nexus or something. And then like the rest of the game, he's like almost getting back in it and he's doing a lot of good things and he kind of like drowns in the counterattacks of the Zerg. And it's just this thing where I feel like, you see the camera on Showtime after those matches and he's got this like, kind of like, this is like the spanner in the works of what I want to do in this matchup. Like this option that Zerg can pull out is really weird. So that's just a strategic kind of nerdy thing I wanted to talk about.
Have you seen much Swarm host versus stats?
Guys, I'm actually going to stop this now. This is I can't even believe. And you guys won't even stop. Listen, I will host an after-hours Swarm host discussion, and we can all do it then. Anyways. So there's some debate among the panelists as to whether or not Swarm host will be used in the Dark matchup.
I can't wait for the day we're on a WCS analytics desk. We can just talk about Swarm host.
Nathaniel's he'll have a producer in his ear that'll be like, "Cut the commercial!" And he'll be like, "Well, we're on commercial, guys. Anyways, very interesting group. I think, in my opinion, we can round out our opinions on this, but I think Has goes 0-2. I know I was the guy that admitted I was wrong.
Dan was super excited during Spain. He had an amazing run. Montreal reality came crushing back in. Like, Has looked really bad. It was not okay. I felt like he's the kind of guy that where once people were like, oh, that's all you do, and they adjusted, it was silly. Him beating Stats here is ludicrous, and then him beating either Dark or Showtime that lose that match, come on. And then after that, I think if Showtime can beat Stats like he has been in those online tournaments and some of the things he's been doing in Korea, and then he can beat Has, or he beats Dark if he wins the first match, then I think he's on his way to making it out of the group. That'd be amazing.
One thing to mention is that Stats and Showtime have a very similar style, and then House is the complete polar opposite of them. So I think that makes this group a lot easier for Dark to practice for.
I agree, 100%.
Not just because they're all the same race, but like Haas would also be overall the lowest base skill, even though that his base skill is still higher than people give him credit for. But like Dark, yeah.
I don't think Dark's. I could never imagine. I could never see Dark dying to Haas's stuff either, though. Like the way Dark plays, just never gonna happen.
That'd be amazing. All right, well that's Group C. Let's go into Group D here. Pig did a nice segue into Group C, and then Dan doesn't watch the show, so if you're wondering why we're all laughing, he doesn't see the picture. Group D. So what is the matchup, guys? Because it is wrong on this graphic.
It is Classic versus Nurchio and Rogue versus Special.
Jake, you've got these guys living around. You want to talk about Special versus Rogue? Is there a chance? Can Special do it?
I mean, I love Juan, and I think he's prepping really hard. Okay, he's putting it in his all. But this is going to be a really, really hard group for both foreigners. Like Classic and Rogue are just such monsters. I don't think Specials. I mean, it's possible, but I think unlikely, to be honest.
Is there a thing, by the way, about how down Zerg is in Korea that Nurchio comes in as a different kind of monster for Classic? Is that a thing?
No.
Maybe it was a different Zerg.
To be really honest, if Rogue wasn't in this group, maybe, because then maybe it was like, okay, well, Classic's gonna sleep on Nurchio and practice for Terrence. But the fact that Rogue is in this group, there is no way in hell Classic is sleeping on Rogue, because Classic probably only sees Rogue. He's probably sleeping on both the foreigners right now.
Okay.
And that's not even that bad of a thing to do. But the fact that he's probably just sleeping on Special, and then just practice for Rogue and take out Nurchio and Rogue 100%, and then just hope your base skill is high enough to beat Special.
And for our viewers, by the way, sleeping on is a street basketball term in suburban Canada. That means that you're not counting on them. You don't think that they're worthy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's practicing a little bit of versus Terran, but it's got to be mostly for Rogue.
Yeah.
Do you think I'd like to see Special bring out some 2-base all-ins against Rogue? And I also feel like Rogue has not impressed me in the second half of this year at all. There have been these brilliant games mixed into this underwhelming series. I don't know, like May or something like that.
He had a bad GSL versus the World. I'll give you that. That was a garbage series against Innovation.
You but
you want to talk about elsewhere with Rogue? Then we can talk. But
Pig, you're in a
debate. Like the GSL, you kept getting eliminated by Maru in close games too. Like some games sucked, sure, but like when you see out the long drawn games against Maru, they were insane every time.
I mean, yeah, I think it was really sad. Was it season 2 where he played Maru in the round of 8, and then he was like wrecking him.
And then he got 2-1-1s.
And then and then he crushed the 2-1-1 while playing the most overly safe build of all time, held the attack. Maru didn't even have like a third base, or his third base had just started, and Rogue held down the drone key and went to 85 workers. Didn't remake Banelings. Maru literally just redropped the Marines he'd saved, stimmed in and won the game. And Rogue had the game won. And it was like the saddest game 5. And I don't know if Rogue just lost confidence there, because he should have won that game. He had the game won and he kind of lost it in this moment of Zerg silliness, which we've all done, where we think, hey, I held the attack. I don't need to make more Banelings. And you just die to some Marine stimming. But then he had a very underwhelming performance versus Neeb as well in the round of 8 last season. Neeb played well, but Rogue played very questionably in season 3. Rogue has had multiple series where he has had some really good games and some really bad games mixed into the same best of 3 or best of 5. Like, he has just got these weird things he's doing. He did the 2-base Swarm host and just got wrecked by the Phoenix play, which obviously he wasn't expecting against Neeb. But he's had multiple games like this where he just kind of weirds out. You add the innovation series in GSL versus the world, and I'm very underwhelmed by Rogue. I don't think he's the same beast he was at the end of last year, and I used to be a big Rogue fanboy, but right now I'm super critical of Rogue. He's nowhere near where he was last year.
Artosis, your response. I know that your honor's been challenged here.
I think that people, especially Pig, are sleeping on Rogue a little bit. He hasn't. Of course, it wasn't as good as last year. Last year was the best run we ever had until Maru and Cyril and what they did this year. Literally throughout the 7 years previous of Starcraft 2.
Did you say last year?
Yeah,
he went through to this year because he won Katowice. Anyways, over players like Classic Maru and Cyril. Look, Rogue is still in really good shape. He's definitely not the unbelievable force he was last year, but he is one of, there's like just a small handful of players I look at and I'm like, these are the players that can just win BlizzCon straight up without weird bracket stuff going on, right? Because you can kind of scrape together a couple extra guys where it's like, yeah, if someone eliminates Maru, maybe Zest can have a sick run and win BlizzCon. No, there's like a very small group, and Rogue is within it, of people that can actually win BlizzCon. And like the fact
who
that
else would you put in that group?
Okay, I would
like
put
Maru,
in
TY stats.
It's classic.
Maru.
Classic.
He asked me, not you guys. Shut up. The people who can win BlizzCon straight up: Maru, TY, Cyril, SOS, Rogue, maybe Stats too. I don't put. I think that Classic is not going to have the stability for that. But look, Classic always delivers a BlizzCon. He gets top 4 all the time and stuff. So what do I know? But I'm just saying, Rogue is like in this group where, for me, I look at it and say, oh, was winning the hardest GSL Super Tournament, the hardest IM ever in IM Shanghai, BlizzCon last year, IM Katowice this year. Is this not? And then he gets eliminated by Maru in close sets. Maru is the one that has to eliminate him from GSL. It's like, what are we talking about?
He's still a very good player, all right? I
just two Zerg in the world. Is there two Zergs better than him, Pig?
Hang on. I'm trying to find
in
the
last
calendar.
few months, Dark and Sue are both better than Rogue in the last.
Excuse me?
I don't think Sue. Definitely not Sue. Have you seen Sue?
I haven't been following Sue's play closely, but
okay, because Sue's looking really bad right now.
Did you say that Sue's better than Rogue?
I haven't watched too much of Sue recently, but Dark when he's on form, even though I've been critical of Dark a little bit because I feel like even though he's very good, I haven't seen as many out there performances. I definitely think Dark and Cyril are both probably better.
Yeah,
than
Dark
Rogue
won
right
a lot
now.
of tournaments this year. You're right. Jeff, give me mod on your channel. I got a bot fan Pig. I can't take this anymore. Saying Sue's better than Rogue. That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I can see where Pig's coming from, to be honest. Like the former half of the year has definitely been lackluster for Rogue, but I don't think that's really indicative of like a really big skill drop or anything like that. I just think he's getting unfortunate brackets, or it's not preparing very well for some of these matchups. But I mean, base mechanics, Rogue is still such a monster. And there's no surprise who he's playing right now. It's not like GSL versus the World where he's just getting an opponent and he has to play them right now or whatever.
Jake, it's tearing me up inside, though. What are the chances we see Swarm host out of Rogue? Like
What do you think, Pig?
No!
I think about 3.2%, but it depends on what the map vetoes are. So what do you think about the map vetoes on Parasite? I need to hear your thoughts on this. Answer the question.
Sorry, what was that?
Very good. Other matchup that we didn't talk about. Nurchio versus Classic. Are we all sleeping on Nurchio here? Do we think Classic just destroys him?
I think Classic's definitely the huge edge here.
Yeah, Classic's looking really good. He wrecked Super
Really
Tournament. Classic's beast moding lately. So
he occasionally he falls flat in his face in PvZ. It doesn't happen too often, but occasionally he'll just be like, I don't know what's going on.
I just can't see it with Rogue in this group. You know,
he's gonna really.
If Rogue wasn't in the group, definitely possible. But the fact that Rogue is in this group, there's no way he just doesn't have the ZVP stat. Like, unless he's just going out of this group completely, like he has to be prepping for this.
I think you're right. I think Rogue is the unfortunate kind of catalyst there for making Classic go into this group thinking PvZ is going to be how he gets out of it. Because PvT is probably just like, I got that unlocked. This is
That's not.
Yeah,
I
it would
feel
be
like
really hard for special to be classic. I think.
I would love for all to be wrong because I think we're all special fanboys. Like, but it's been a while, right? Like this year, he fed off that Mexican scene. Like most of his points and most of his stuff came from destroying Callizer in the finals of Encham, and they're both good, by the way. That scene's gotten quite good, which is awesome for WCS because it's like it used to be a joke. It used to be like, well, it still kind of is, but it used to be like, it's free points over there, but. Now he's beating Callizer, who unfortunately this last year took more of a backseat in StarCraft 2. Like, it's not the same Callizer as 2016 and 7. No, 2017 is what I would say. That was his big year.
I mean, he's actually just a full-time student, right? So
yeah, that's exactly what I said.
In the last few months. Yeah, just in the last few months, though, right? Like, pretty sure he was still competing full-time in the first half of this year.
If we're going to go full down this road, like, yeah, his last few months, he announced that he's been part-time, but before that he had a girlfriend, which is like the death of
the real decline was when he said he had a girlfriend. That's when you know it's going down.
It's actually real. It's actually a real thing, by the way.
Yeah,
the single boys are the ones that tear it up out there. No pun intended. Oof.
Oof. And moving on.
So the same way we feel classics going to be like focusing on the Zerg matchup, I think the same thing can be said for special. Like if we do see him get out of the group, I see him taking out Rogue and Nurchio and like making it out of the group that way. But I think that's the only way. I think it'd be really hard for him to take out classic.
Yeah, I think he's got a better shot against Rogue as well. It's funny because sometimes I look at special skill-wise, and I think, he's got one of the better chances out of the non-Serral foreigners in one of these groups in my head, in that TVZ match. But I just always have this, it's not even like an objective. This is what his skill is right now. This is how it matches up. It's just this, when there's a big stage in the past, I have this like old view of special where it's like, he'd win the first series and lose the last deciding match. Always like so many 1-2 deciding series where it looked like he was almost the better player until everything got on the line. But I'm kind of having that turn around after last year. He made it through to the semis, didn't do well at all against it was against Sue, right? Who took him out?
Yeah, but you know why that happened, right? That happened because TY was against Rogue on the other side, and Special had to play first. So he didn't use any of the builds that they had been working on for that matchup because TY was going to use them. And he didn't want Rogue to see them.
Are you being serious?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm 100% serious about that.
I thought that was a huge wind-up for a bad joke, but you're being real.
So there were sick builds, so he had to play a completely alternative style against Sue. Like if TY had lost earlier, he might have gone to the finals. Like that's no joke.
And remember TY? Cool. Do you guys remember TY against Rogue from that BlizzCon? Those builds?
There was
no.
Neither do I.
There was like, did he do like the Ghost Rush or something? Is that where he? I can't remember.
Yeah, he might have pulled out the Ghost Hellbat. Maybe on like
something like that. Anyways, it was. There you go.
He was up 2-1 in that series, I believe, and then Rogue won 2 games in a row to bring it back to the 3-2 to go to the finals against TY, if I remember correctly. I remember it being very close.
Both Special and TY held hands and jumped off the cliff together, and they're like, "Let's just die to Zerg."
I really wanted TY to win. I didn't want to see a ZVZ like grand finals. I think it's not as interesting as a TVZ with TY.
It's going to be Maru versus Serral. Just wrap your head around it right now. And
it's not going to happen.
I'm putting it out there right now. Blizzard, if you're listening, and I know they are, you can rig it, okay? Whoever makes it out of this, that's fine. Serral on one side, Maru on the other. Don't feel bad, okay? Don't feel bad. When you randomly generate that bracket and it's fucking 6 mirror matchups and 2 non, and it's Maru versus, like, it's just terrible. No. Don't do that. Redo it until it's Mar versus Serral at the bottom and top. Well, okay, that's the groups. Now we are gonna do the hard thing, and I'm gonna wring some actual opinions out of you guys. And this is. Let me put this out here, by the way. It's hard to do a show like this because we're gonna make predictions now. That's what I'm gonna call for, and some of us are gonna be really wrong, but we're gonna have the guts to put it on the line and to publicly state our reasons for why we think this. And some of you in the chat are going to use that as an opportunity to hate on us. And that's fine, because the other people in the chat are going to be like, well, now I'm supporting you by subbing or doing Patreon or Matcherino. And if you don't do that, you're a piece of... Never mind. You're still a lovely part of the community. Anyways, we're going to do predictions now. Oh, my God. Cobra, you have to... I don't know where these pictures are coming from, Dan. Apparently we have like a meme group now, but it's... Well, you're going to want to look at the picture that's coming up. It's good.
Okay.
It's fine. I don't know where they're coming from. I didn't know this picture of you was taken. All right. Who's the most brave soul here that's going to tell me who's winning BlizzCon and who are the second and third, not necessarily place second and third, but like the other in the top 4, the other 2 or 3, if you want to go for all 4. Who's coming out of BlizzCon big? Who's going first?
SOS is coming out of BlizzCon big.
He's in the top 4. Is he winning this?
I think he's just going to win it again. I think he's going to bring it all the way. But here's the thing. This is really tough for me because the 2 people that I always say are going to win are both here, Rogue and TY. Like these 3 I am looking at so closely. Obviously, Maru, Serral are fun. But yeah, here I am, guys. SOS.
SOS number 1 is what you're saying. He's going to win this.
I think what's going to happen is people are going to be really hyped about Maru Serral. But SOS won his group and Maru won his group. So they have to play in the semifinals. And they're like, this is basically the finals. And then it's going to be like Maru going to the finals, and then SOS is going to beat him. And it's like, no, it wasn't basically the finals. The finals was versus SOS. And there you have it.
So you're saying Maru and Serral in the top 4, and SOS is your winner?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all, Jeff.
Well, it's kind of hard to get the actual answer out of you because you're so afraid of giving the actual answer.
I'm a wily caster. I'm all over the place.
Oh my God.
Look. Well, the thing is, we don't know exactly how the brackets will look, but I am really feeling TY SOS right now. Okay.
All right.
I know that Maru just beat TY in the finals, but that game 7 was going to TY. What the hell happened in that last fight? Okay. So I'm calling TY the current GSL champion, and I think him and SOS are going to be the 2 ones that everyone's sleeping on because they are actually going to come in here and wreck. There you go.
Wreck them.
Okay, what I'm going to ask from you, No Regret and Pig, is that you give actual substantive answers that you're not afraid to give. So, like, what just happened there is when either one of those players don't win BlizzCon, Dan gets to make a prediction in the round of 4. Be like, I told everyone that Dark was going to win, and it's like, what? It's terrible. But he's a broken guy. There's nobody that gets made fun of more for making predictions than Dan, so I can understand that. No Regret, who are your picks?
I think highest percentage to win BlizzCon over all matchups is definitely Maru. Like, when I look at this, I think certain brackets could certainly benefit other players like TY and Stats or somebody, but I think Maru overall has the highest percentage chance of winning in all matchups. So I would say Maru, certainly. I think Serral is definitely possible again. I wouldn't put him first, like a high first, but definitely has a high percentage. If we're talking like champions, probably Maru's like a 40-30% chance, and Serral's more like a 25 or 20. Like, when we're talking, if we're going to give everyone a percentage chance of winning,
sure, not just like,
yeah. So I think Maru, Serral, Classic, and Dark are my top 4.
Okay,
and then they all are possible.
That's a good top 4.
Yep. It does lack a dark horse, I think, because that's all pretty. That's like
Dark.
If everything goes the way it should, but Jake's a former pro gamer, so like that's exactly the way they think. They're like, well, everyone, the better player will win in the finals. The 4 best players.
I mean, Haas is going to get the championship. I mean, like,
no. I mean, like Sarah Laser last year, right? Who the fuck thought that was going to happen? Not Sarah Laser, excuse me, Special Laser is what I'm trying to say. Didn't a Laser get top 4, right? And he beat Special to do that?
Top 8.
He got top 4 the previous year.
It was the other way around.
He got top 4 2016, and then he got top 8, and then Special got top 4 last year.
Ago? Son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah, so Laser got top 8 2 years in a row. 1 year, there's top 4, then top 8. Yeah.
And here we are.
Where is he this time?
No,
he's not here this year.
He's at home. Pig, that leaves you and me. I'm going to make you go, though.
I think the Night King cometh. Serral is going to win. He's going to bring that Finnish winter down. I think there's this emotional part of my brain that's like, I've been cheering for foreigners for years as a fan of Starcraft and watching them get bashed in the face. And that's like, but he'll panic and lose. And I'm like, no, he won't. No, he has some of the best emotional control in the game. you can tell when he's like stressed a little bit, but it's like very well controlled. It's very well controlled. You know, it reminds me a little bit of like a Federer or something. So when someone's got that much control and they just don't get thrown off by what's going wrong in the match, and they seem to get more focused and they bring incredible comebacks back repeatedly. Like that's the champion quality. So I think Cyril, I'm kind of going in saying, look, he's the champ. Top 4 though, you've got Maru in there, you've got TY in there. And Classic is my dark horse, but he's not really a dark horse. He won Super Tournament. If Classic could destroy the other Protoss players in this tournament, like he reversaled, you know, against SOS there. When his PvP especially, Classic is unstoppable. The thing that could stop Classic is a...
Is that what you said?
Yeah. When Classic switched on,
you got a nemesis today, Pig. You got a nemesis.
Destroys, man. That's right.
Dan's coming for that pig booty. He's in that style.
There have been 2 periods this year. There was earlier this year where Classic, it was like the best PvP in the world by far, and recently he's shown it again. So he's at the top of his game. If he runs into Dark in the round of 8, though, he might just die to a Dark or a Cyril or anything, because PvZ is definitely Classic's weakness. So Cyril and Dark are the players he wants to dodge. If he dodges them, he gets the semis definitely 100%.
So I just want to fix what Pig just said for him. SOS is much better than Classic at PvP. Okay, just want to throw that out there. Just SOS hit a brain fart and went blink every single game, and Classic make Immortals, and that's why he won Super Tournament. SOS didn't win Super Tournament. It was 3-0 before that, with SOS actually varying his builds and not just going straight blink every game. So yes, other than that, that was a really good thing you said.
Dan, as always, thank you for editing what Pig said and helping us out here with that.
Yeah, it's no problem. I'm here to help. I'm a host.
Great.
Big appreciation.
I have this is like I get to, every time I say Classic is the best PvP in the world, I get to have this debate with StarCraft fans on Twitter as well. So I'm glad everybody always says SOS, but I believe I stick by my guns. I think Classic's better than him in PvP.
Time will tell.
So top 4 is what?
I agree with Pig.
Okay, how close is this line?
Cyril's winning this. There's a thing about destiny and momentum. I just believe it. I've seen this kind of shit before. My heart will shatter if this is not true, but I've never seen these kind of stars align where we actually have a foreigner that can go into a tournament like BlizzCon, which has a weird special extra something to it. Like Koreans turn it on to Dial 11 there as well. And it's if Cyril can go in and do it there, that is one of the most pronounced statements in the history of online gaming championships and everything. Like it's amazing. It's gigantic. That'll be right after the Tasteless quote about how he's been sidelined for 4 months in Korea on the Wall Street Journal will be a Cyril quote talking about winning BlizzCon. So he's my winner. Obviously, I have Mara in the top 4 because I also believe that the best thing we could ever have happen in StarCraft would be a Mara versus Cyril finals or a semifinal, but just something on that scale. I need that. I need that in my life, and I need a game 5 or 7, 35 minutes down to the last base. Like I'll cry. I'll fucking cry. I want it so bad. So those are heart picks. Cyril, there's some logic to it. Maru is just like it has to happen. The 3 and 4, I think it's interesting because I think I'm a former shitty pro gamer as well. And I'm not saying you're shitty. I was shittier. You actually qualify for things. I just was paid to play. I think you look at the regulars, and no one said Rogue, which I thought was interesting. He's obviously very, very good. We're very fleeting in our opinions, right? We're like, well, he lost the last series, so he's terrible, and then it's like, well, he's gone forever. But I think there's a chance he's there. I actually think, for me, the dark horse could be, and this could end up being the most wrong thing I've ever said in my life, Showtime. Actually, he's getting stronger, looking good. He was having fun, and I saw a little kind of twinkle in his eye. And I also he's gone to Korea and put in the time there as well, which I think is really important. And one of the X factors that is missing at a BlizzCon is the guys that don't go to Korea aren't as familiar with the things they do, and then in that short best of 3, they get caught off guard by some of the weird shit. They're otherwise fantastic players, but they get made to look bad. But Showtime's not that guy. So I think he could actually have, like, and I also look at Showtime and say, who are some of the scariest players in this tournament? It's obviously the 2 Terran monsters, but after them, it's not Terran at all. It's Protoss and Zerg, right? And Showtime beats stats. He can beat a Classic. And then after that, he can beat anybody else. And then the Zergs are in a funny spot too, where it's like, I think Showtime loses to Cyril quite hard, but the other Zergs, I think he's actually okay against them. Not necessarily favored, but okay. So he's my dark horse pick. I think he could take a top 4. It's not likely, but I think there is actually a couple matchups where you're like, yeah, Showtime wins that.
Yeah.
He's a great pick for Dark Horse, I think. He put in a ton of time here. He actually played really, really well in some tournaments and took out like pretty much everybody. I think it was a base trade tournament where he just defeated everybody in that group that was all Korean.
Yeah.
Like he looks really good when he's really good. I don't know how to explain it. Like when Showtime's on point, he's scary. But he also has those weird down like cycles.
Well, it's also the play style thing. I think Stats to some extent has the same thing because they are very similar defensive players, and they're always trying to toe that line of greed. Sometimes I feel like they give themselves like less easy wins, right? Like you see Maru pick up so many easy wins in a tournament. You see even Cyril started doing some more aggressive kind of weird builds every now and then. You do like a queen drop Ravager bust, get an easy win, and I so rarely see Showtime and Stats. I feel like they do it maybe just not as high a percentage of times do they hit these like quick timings that finish off games as quickly and get as many easy wins. And I feel like there's more games where they're kind of just so defensive and trying to get ahead that just the littlest thing that surprises them sometimes just knocks them out and they don't really get into their rhythm or whatever you want to say. So that's kind of the thing which I feel sometimes. That's why I feel like I'm with you guys. I echo everything you said, but I think PVZ is the reason I'm thinking it's going to be hard for Showtime because I just, looking at him recently, I feel like he's doing well at stages, but he doesn't seem to be able to control an entire series. And there's always like some weird curveballs that seem to catch him off guard. And the Zerg kind of just runs away with the momentum, whether it be a Lambo or a Dark he's playing. So that's the one thing. And I'm the biggest Showtime fanboy because I learned how to play Protoss literally from him. But I think like, it's going to be really hard for him to get out of his group against his Stats and Dark and that sort of stuff.
Agreed.
To complement what you said, I think those are things that are actually pretty easy to prepare as well. Like not easy, but those are things that you can definitely work on before series. Like if you know these are your weaknesses. So if he can definitely like clean up his act before BlizzCon, he can look so scary. Like it's so much easier to do something like that and fix that up than just being mechanically worse than everyone else or something like that. It's just like, well, what can I do? I have to play 12 hours a day every day until I'm mechanically better. But he's mechanically such a monster.
I think this is one of the more complete BlizzCons I've seen, and it's got some of the biggest storylines. I know that we say that every year, and it may very well be true every year, but I'm actually, like, Cyril is my beating heart as a sopping cheer of foreigners and then underdogs. Cyril's like our avatar. He's the final form of what we have hoped for. But then these Korean monsters are really fun, too. Like, we actually have good racial diversity for the most part. It's good matchups. A lot of household names. Nurchio's been playing since Wings of Frickin' Liberty. Here he is at a BlizzCon, still getting those results. It's amazing. Dan's been hyping special since 1994, and finally here he is once again. And I think we would all be really pleasantly surprised, and one of us smug, if Haz actually did somehow, once again, get that Spain magic going. I think it's impossible, but that's what everyone's going to think about Haz for the rest of his life. So, like, sometimes it happens. Spain was magical, man. There was lightning in a freaking bottle. It can happen. So I'm excited. That's your BlizzCon groups. These are our thoughts. This video will be live on Artosis's YouTube later tonight, basically. I get asked all the time, but it will be there. But there's still time before BlizzCon. So if you've got some thoughts, share it in the comments, share it on our Discord, all that kind of stuff. Well, let's move it along. Our next topic here is going to be KSL Season 2, Round of 16. Dan, you want to talk about that?
Yes. Well, that starts tonight. KSL Season 2. It's going to go out through December. It's going to sometime in December. Yeah, it looks like the final is in mid-December. Hasn't been announced yet. But yeah, so basically on the Starcraft Twitch channel, in about 7.5 hours, we are going to start out. And I mean, the KSL, I think we went over who qualified and stuff last time, but we have tonight and tomorrow night going on, best of fives each night. I think we got rid of the winner chooses the map, so that's good. We should have much better series at this point, and we have a better map pool as well. It's just the second season of KSL, but I think it's like everything's kind of gonna get a lot better, I guess, going forward is what I'm looking to say here. So. Yeah, I mean the first time a production company's doing a tournament. Yeah, we are missing some big names. Jadong dropped out. Flash and Effort chose not to play, and then we had some big names that tried to qualify and didn't make it, like Best and Stork. But the lineup is still insane. We have some really fun guys that made it in as well. Like, for instance, Larva made it in this time, and he didn't. He like lost in the finals of his qualifier last time. So some big names and some new guys making it as well as the return of some famous names from back in the day, like Leda made it into this. So yeah, it's going to be solid. It's going to be good. Can't wait for tonight.
So that'll be later tonight or today or morning for you guys, but that'll be going on like
7.5 hours from this moment.
7.5 hours. And it does run until early December, so a nice couple months there of StarCraft remastered for us to be enjoying.
Yep. And it takes a little break during BlizzCon, but then it's right back.
Everything does, I guess. Next topic, we got the Afrika Star League Season 6 also starting up here.
Yes. We are in the top 4 at this point. And in fact, in like 3 days, we'll be starting that top 4. We have Last versus Effort on one side. By the way, all of these guys are champions. There was a league called VSL that we had right before we started ASL Season 1, and Effort won that. And Last just won KSL, right? So this is an insane match. Effort's in really good shape right now, as is Last, obviously. So Last might be able to win KSL followed by ASL right thereafter.
Amazing.
But probably not, because on the other side of the bracket is Flash versus Shuttle. And like it's become this thing that's really hard for me in commentary to really realistically describe how much better Flash is than everyone. Like this doesn't even really compute. Like, yeah, he loses games and stuff, but normally not. The series that he had against Mini, who's one of the most dangerous Protosses in the world, like he's top 3 PBT, I would say. He's just, and he can be a crazy guy. Like, it was one of the worst series I've ever seen in my whole life.
How one-sided it was?
Yeah, and even in one of the games, he got a 17 kill Reaver right off the bat, and it was mostly SCVs. Flash still rolled him. It's just like the amount that Flash is better than everyone is just amazing to see, and everyone should definitely tune in to watch that and see if he can just, if he wins this, it's his 4th ASL victory.
Amazing.
So
it is funny how it's at the same time hype inducing and also hype killing how good Flash is.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to watch because you want to be there for the moment that he loses, but he's also such a juggernaut that like the few times he does lose, he's just like, well, I'm in another finals of another tournament, so I guess you can just go watch me win that one and forget about this moment in time. It's happened a lot. Someone in the chat, and this is just conjecture because we don't know this person, but they were saying that Flash at least stated that he wants to focus on one Star League at a time is the reason why he's not playing the other one.
I wouldn't be surprised, because that's actually what Jaedong said. And because the KSL qualifiers are kind of like a grueling event. They'd take like kind of all day and stuff. And it was right before Jaedong had to play his ASL group. And truthfully, Jaedong should have won his ASL group. He actually killed Flash and then lost to Action with a hotkey issue. Yeah. And then lost to Flash in a super close rematch. It was like it was a very close, very aggressive game out of Jaedong that Flash won in the loser match. So like you can see that Jaedong came super prepared and realistically should have won the group, but it didn't work out like that. So it's too bad that like he's out, and Flash will probably end up winning this now. But yes, I think some of these guys, like at some point you've won so many championships and you're getting older and you're not practicing, or you're probably practicing really quite a bit still, but it's hard to keep up the constant flow of tournaments that South Korea is really getting right now. So that I would just take him at his word. I don't think that there's anything nefarious going on.
It's
people want to be like, Afrika's not letting him. No, man, all sorts of Afrika streamers everyone's an Afrika streamer in Brood War. That's just what your job is. So it's too bad he didn't join KSL, but he'll probably win this.
Super understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. A lot of StarCraft Brood War coming your guys' way and continuing on your way, so make sure and check that out. One final nod here as well to kind of close up our subjects, but the Rogue Signature Series video will go live tomorrow in the AM for us Americans, is the kind of sign that we've been told here. Not sure there's an exact time on that, but just to give you guys points of reference if you're a European viewer or if you're in Asia, we're talking probably 10 hours, something like that.
For the Rogue thing?
Yeah.
Just to mention, actually, and it just went live on YouTube like while we were talking 30 minutes ago, No Regret and I did a lead-in to that. We went over Rogue's best games of the year, in our opinions. We went over the replays, and that is up on my YouTube. So you can check that out. YouTube.com/ArtosisTV for me and No Regret going over some Maru vs. Rogue games.
Did you ask Pig to do that with you? Did you invite Pig on there?
Pig? Well, Pig thinks Rogue sucks, man. Pig is pretty sure he can beat him 1v1, so nah, I didn't.
Oh my god!
Interesting.
I want to clarify because I know there's gonna be like there's like 10 people there and they're like Pig actually thinks Rogue sucks at StarCraft and will come last. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the top 8. I'm simply pointing out that last year's champion, I don't think will be making the top 4. He's still one of the best players in the world, and that's why he's at BlizzCon. But
I don't know why you hate him.
you don't think he's going to be beating some of those other guys. That's all. That's all right. This is for Twitch chat. This is not for Dan. I know Dan's trolling me, guys. This is for the couple of people out there who are going to be tweeting at me, why do you hate Koreans so much? But yeah, no. I mean, Rogue's still great, but he was just unstoppable last year, you know. So I feel like he's not quite there right now. That's all. I'd like to see him come back and, you know, what was it last year? He was showing us like mech looked crap just because of him. Every other Zerg was struggling and he was killing it. He's definitely trailblazed a lot of late game stuff, a lot of cool builds. He pulled out Nidus Swarm Host last year. You cannot, you know, you can't hate the guy who does that in a elimination match. So Rogue's still a baller. Just I don't feel like this is going to be his year for a semis.
Dan, there's a piece of paper in the middle of your door. It says killing high ground something. What does that say?
It says killing high ground cannoned bases. This is one of the hardest things to do in Brood War is when a Protoss makes a base on a high ground expansion, puts cannons at the ramp. I'm literally like trying to brainstorm how to clear these bases.
What do you have for notes underneath that, Dan?
Float eBay or racks over, and I also came up with the idea of 2 dropships, but that doesn't really work that well.
Can I help
too
you?
Expensive, too time.
Can you just make a little note? Just write one word, okay?
What is it?
Tanks. Just write the word tanks.
It's not tanks, you jobber. Oh my god, this Zerg player's telling me about TVP.
Tanks underneath that and just
I'm not
circle it
writing
1,000 times. Okay.
Cannons beat tanks. You don't even know what you're talking about.
I can't believe you've been playing this game 20 years and you grabbed a... What is that piece of paper, by the way? Who the fuck buys paper the size of your twins? Like, what is that?
Oh, that's a whiteboard. That's a whiteboard.
Oh, it's a whiteboard. That makes more sense.
Yeah. There's paper next to it.
You stuck it on your door, and you wrote, and this is so... I love that this is in frame of your stream, too, that you're like, I want people to think that I'm... Jesus Christ, I'm in the lab, you guys. I'm in the lab trying to figure out some of the problems in StarCraft. High ground cannons. High ground cannons.
Yeah. They're broken.
One of the greatest minds in StarCraft, you guys. He's got on his fucking door, how do I beat cannons when I can't shoot them with my Marines good? Oh my god. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. That was weird. I got DC'd. Yeah, I went to his...
Sorry, I just don't have Dark Swarm to
I went to his house and I looked around and the whole room is like that, by the way. It's just not this, just this. It's like
is it stuff?
all of his walls...
How many ComSat scans in a game should I use? Is there stuff? Is that one? What's the one next to that? Dan, what's the one next to it with the paper?
I'm not going to read you everything.
I need to know. I need to know. All right, I'm going to come visit you then. I'm going to figure it all out.
Oh, I was working on hotkeys on one of those pieces of paper.
That makes more sense.
He's got lots of papers. I thought it was cool.
Screen switching there and measuring it. I don't know, whatever. There's all sorts of stuff.
In theory, Protoss mind
next
control
time you come to
unbeatable.
Korea, I'll teach you a thing or two, okay?
Yeah. As long as you got your whiteboard.
So for all of the millennials out there, that's what Microsoft Word and Google Drive looked like before we had those. Yes.
Yeah, but then people can't see on my stream. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It was a really good conversation. A lot of laughs, a lot of good opinions. That is it for our topics. This was mostly a BlizzCon preview show. So thank you, guys. We're now going to jump into our favorite couple of moments of the day, I would say. We also want to take this time, as Cobra's kind of loading up the Q&A section for us to read here, to say that next week there will not be a show. Mr. Artosis, Daniel Stemkowski, will be traveling from Korea to the United States. He has not been announced as a commentator for BlizzCon, so we cannot confirm nor deny that is the case. But there is he will be landing at the Los Angeles airport, and from there, who knows what he's doing? He could be...
I just want to go to Disneyland.
He could be going to Disneyland. Yeah,
whatever. There's great pizza. Rumors aside, okay, so we can't do the show. Later that night, as it would be, I will also be flying to the California state, the southern part of it even, and what I'm doing, I don't know. It's a secret project. The following week, we may have a show. Our very own Cobra is also attending BlizzCon, and I've made it very clear that, if we can do a show, great. If not, no stress. So we might do some kind of recording that goes to YouTube, or maybe we'll stream it. We'll see. But some kind of content will be produced there. And then, of course, at BlizzCon itself, as we've been talking about for weeks now, there will be the Pylon Show live from there, minus all the cursing, any references to penises and vaginas, and then plus a Day 9 and a StarCraft 2 or StarCraft Remastered dev. And we'll be talking mostly about StarCraft Remastered, so that's going to be really fun. Hopefully you guys will tune in. I will probably sneak in a penis or vagina, as I want to do, but I cannot do 2 or 3 of them. That's over the line, so... And I know Mark's listening, and Mark's like, "No, you won't, Jeff." And I'm like, "Yes, I will, Mark. And you know it. You know it. It's that or a fart sound." So that's the future. Thank you guys so much. Let's get into the Q&A right now, and we're gonna try to blitz through this. I'm inspired by Artosis, so we're gonna get through this really quickly. Okay, I'll take over control, Cobra. There's a lot of them, and I just want to, once again, I'm going to make this a weekly thing. Try to make the questions quick and concise. It's mostly for our guests, by the way. Pig's got a stream to go to. Jake has all of Korea to run. He's the kind of crime overlord of Korea. So the quicker you guys make these questions, the more likely we'll all be happy and be able to answer them. Instinctive asks, hey, do y'all think there could ever be a team/Archon mode tourneys in WCS/GSL/BlizzCon? Maybe anyone eliminated before semis is in? Would love to see team modes get love. Yeah, well, absolutely not. Instinctive. Thank you for being a Patreon, but no. The answer is no. Markand. Follow up to Instinctive's question. If a team league were to make a comeback, what format would ensure the best matches? GSTL style, Nation War style, GSL versus the World style, or what? So I don't think that's super a follow-up, but he's asking a question that I do like. If there were a team league, what kind of format do you guys like?
I always enjoyed Pro League personally. I like it when you kind of know the match a week ahead of time, and they really can prep their best stuff for the map. But I mean, Winners League stuff is fun as well.
Mark's in the chat.
Yeah, I like Pro League as well. I think if you have the opportunity to socialize with your team and send up someone who you think can defeat someone who's on a kill streak, I think that's a really cool aspect where people can use their strengths and stuff like that. But you don't really get that when everyone plays one person.
I like, I know it gets abused sometimes, and I think right now it might be bad, but I like the all-kill format. It does make for some exciting stuff. Like one guy taking down 4 or 5 is really cool. But again, that gets there is the bad side of that. But something different is what I would ask for. That's my generic caster response, where I'm like, I don't want GSL group style and all that kind of stuff. I want something interesting. Onrak says, until next time, you beautiful bastards. Thank you, dude. Wish I would have previewed that. MLTY, or I've been calling you Melty. I don't know if that's it, but MLTY. If you were a reptile, which one would you be and why? Pig? What reptile would you be?
Komodo dragon.
That's a good answer.
No. Because it just eats, it takes forever to eat things and kill them and stuff, and otherwise it just lies around in the sun. So yeah, it's cool.
That. Jake, what's your lizard that you would be? A reptile?
I think a turtle.
Is that
free rents? You're always safe. You don't have to move much. You just get to eat whatever is on the ground. I don't know. I think it just a turtle's existence sounds pretty good to me.
Matt, can we get a Google check? Is a turtle a lizard?
Is that a lizard?
We said reptile. Did we not? Did we not say reptile, Pig?
Well, is it a reptile? I don't think
is it a reptile?
It's definitely a reptile. What the fuck? You gonna ask me if tomatoes are vegetables next?
Chat's not calling you down. You might have stumped the internet though.
So wait, what is that?
What? It's definitely a reptile.
What is a reptile?
It's an amniote.
Oh wait, wait, we might be right here.
Oh, because
I don't. I actually don't know. I'm really curious.
Yes, turtles are reptiles. Why are we even?
Cool. Oh, the first Google thing
what
is
do you think they are?
Yeah, turtles are reptiles. Fuck you guys.
What?
I thought so. Fuck off.
What do you think they are? Turtles are tomatoes.
But they were their own thing, man. There's turtles and tortoises, and they're in their own little corner of the animal pyramid.
So there's mammals, there's birds, there's reptiles, there's amphibians, there's turtles, there's fish.
Tell me this. What's a
There's
platypus?
fungus.
What's a platypus? Where's that?
It's a mammal. It's a mammal. What?
They give live birth.
Bring them, pig. Keep bringing them. Come on.
They lay
asking.
eggs though.
What's a megalodon?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
A megalodon?
Yeah, dude.
It's
That's
something
a shark.
that no longer exists. But yeah, I think it's a
Wow.
shark type.
Oh, that kind of attitude. Cake Machine asks, oh, sorry, we have more answers. Dan, what kind of reptile would you be? You say?
I'd probably be a tortoise. Which is a reptile, by the way.
I did not expect 2 turtle answers out of you guys. Like that's what you
The
picked.
turtles exist.
Why would it be a turtle? I'd be a tortoise. I'd be a little.
You ever heard a
Right.
turtle have
The
sex?
ocean
by
is
the way?
too scary. There's sharks in there. Okay.
That's really weird. It's a turtle orgasming, by the way, in case you guys were wondering what that impression was. I would pick crocodile. I'm kind of surprised nobody else picked that. It's really cool. They lay in the
Is that a
sun.
reptile?
Fuck yeah, it's a reptile. Are you kidding me? There's bugs. There's mammals. No. Cake Machine. What sort of name is Artosis anyway? Why don't you have a proper name like Pylon Minimalist or Hero Zealot 69?
Okay.
Did you ever hear the Artosis name story? He just picked it out of a name generator.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Or it's a dictionary
Okay.
or something. You opened up a fucking book or what is it?
No, that's Nick's thing for tasteless. He
What is
opened
yours?
up
I
the
thought that was
dictionary
it.
and pointed. No, I made this
Or
idea
you
like
made it up. That's what it was.
yeah, I made it up because I wanted something that no one else had for branding purposes. Because I knew back when I started playing Brood War, I liked it a lot, and I'm like, I'm going to be famous because I'm going to be so good at this game. So I need my own ID. So I thought of Artosis.
That was smart because everyone takes no regret.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Sapsorian, or Subsaurian, excuse me, says there's a large swath of the StarCraft 2 population that stays for the campaign, story, co-op, and arcade modes, but never touches the competitive or esports side. Do you think more can be done to ease these fans into the esports side of the game, or even if attempts should be made?
Like, I mean, I guess that there's always things going on in StarCraft 2 that, like, if you open up the launcher, you'll see a WCS is going on and stuff. So these players probably are aware, and they'll just watch if they want.
Yeah, maybe have that watch tab in game that we're all kind of dreamed about, you know,
That would be
like
nice.
some other games have. That'd be cool. But other than that, I don't think it's one of these things where it's like everyone that plays has got to be a multiplayer hardcore person. I don't think any game, you know, most games, a lot of people just hop on and like play against the computer or play the little
Yep.
single player. And it doesn't matter if it's a Call of Duty or whatever. Most people just play the little story mode and then put the game away. But yeah, you're not going to have everyone be a hardcore multiplayer player.
I think that's pretty much the standard answer, Subsaurian, is that a watch tab in a launch would be cool, but the idea of like hunting after casual viewers and be like, get over to esports, making it more accessible and easily for them just to be like, oh, I'll watch that because I've got nothing else to do. Sure. Trollhorn, you've already talked about how hard it is to get something exciting out of the pros right after the games. Do you think it would be a good thing to do one laid back backstage interview a day during an event? I would suggest to talk about more general topics, like how they train, how they handle stress, etc. Wouldn't we get to know the pros better that way?
I suppose
think-
you would.
I actually think so for some pros, yeah. I think for most pros, it's better to talk about the games themselves because no matter, you know, how new the pro is to the pro scene, they're going to be more comfortable expressing themselves about the game, but definitely in a more laid back setting. We used to do couch interviews and stuff. Some of them went really well. I always liked it if there was like a segment where you don't have a producer in the ear kind of being like, guys, we have 36 seconds to do this interview. You know, if you can sit there and just kind of play with it a little bit and just chat and talk about the game. Maybe you've got it on the screen there. You're both sitting on the couch and you're kind of going over a replay, asking them some questions. And they've got some stimulus to interact with and remind them what happens in the game because there's so much adrenaline pumping through you after a big StarCraft match. And there's so much that happened and so many things that like changed what you were doing in the game. Half the time they don't even remember what map it is, right? Like how many times is an interviewer being like, oh, what did you think about map 3, something, something? And they start answering about map 2. A completely different scenario. Like that happens all the time because there's so much that's happened in a best of 5. So I think it's really cool if you can, give them a few minutes, sit on a couch, watch the game on like a replay on a TV screen or something and kind of just have a bit of convo about it.
Yeah, I actually think it depends on the person too, because like you don't really get really good answers depending on people already. We already have hard time getting good answers about the games that are happening, and that's something that pro gamers should talk about for endlessly. So like pulling some pro gamers aside and talking about their general life is not going to, build much better answers, to be honest, in my opinion. But some people, I think it'd be fine.
It's a cool
Like
concept.
Harstem would be great, I think. I think Harstem's great in every interview.
We just let Harstem do every player's interview.
Yeah.
I think part of this though is like this is what Home Story Cup's for. WCS is meant to be the more professional, polished, like competitive side of StarCraft, and I love like signature series, and I don't mind the idea of sitting around talking to pro gamers. But in practice, what ends up happening is mostly the most awkward and horrific interview you've ever seen in your life, where they're like, "Need, just traveled from Korea. You're here. Great match. How are you feeling?" He's like, "Feel pretty good." I'm like, "Okay." Do you like the food in Korea? He's like, "Yeah, I like the food." I don't think that I like how we always dream of like scaring the pro gamers out of their holes. Like I love the idea. There's this dream of asking the question of being like, "Neeb, I heard you like Legos. Do you like Legos?" And him being like, "Oh my god, I fucking love Legos! I build spaceships and I build race cars, and one time I ate a hot dog out of a Lego container, it's like real life and construction at the same time." And someone at home's just like, "This is the content I wanted. This is it. I dreamed of this." But instead, what ends up happening every time is like, "Hey, Harstem, you're tall. Are you a basketball player by chance?" And they'll be like, "No, actually, I've never played it." And they're like, "Anyways, back to our commercial." It's just like, fuck. I have feelings about this. Alessandra, our very own Alessandra, says, "I love the GSL, KSL group selections because the players get to show some personality and shenanigans. Using FFA matches to decide groups does too with all the alliances and backstabbing. Should WCS try something similar?"
I mean, I love the idea of group selection stuff. The thing is, WCS is under such a tight schedule because it's so quick, right? I think it's hard for them to get pros to, get into the chairs and do the group selection thing and all that. I mean, I think it could be very good content. It's just like you can't have these big open brackets and everyone getting a chance, but also have this little show in between that takes a long time. Like you have to cut things out. And like you said, it's kind of like this is the very professional, like this is the top end of foreigners playing each other. So yeah, I think that we probably won't see that. Whereas, obviously with KSL, ASL, GSL, we have, all this time because it's spread out.
That is the answer. It's not a bad idea, but time and production probably says no. Still Knocked asks, if you were a doctor with 4 terminally ill patients who you could save by murdering one healthy patient, would you do it? What if you could tell a doctor to do it for you? And they made some stipulations for this question. No one finds you did it. The operation was 100% successful with no chance for failure.
Wait, they said that 3 terminal patients, but 4. We don't know how long until they're terminal, because that makes a big difference.
The preference, the question here is, you're going to save 4 people that otherwise would die by killing one healthy person. He's asking if you would do it.
I think I wouldn't.
This is just a rewording of the trolley question, which is like one of those big ethical questions that people talk about all the time. So yeah.
I think it's hard to say you would rob someone's life away that's healthy to save the terminally ill that already probably have come to peace with the fact that they're dying. Like I don't know. I think I couldn't do it.
What if you? I think maybe if I could pick the person that dies, like, because then I could choose someone not really adding much to society. Like
now you're cooking with fire. See, for me, this is a tough question for me because honestly, if I pick someone to murder and then the doctor is the witness to this, I would then have to kill the doctor. The way that
so you choose the doctor to murder.
Yeah, like he performs the surgery, then has to kill himself. But like by the boundaries of this question, he has to do it. The problem is that the doctor, being a doctor, it means that they're educated, probably wealthy, so they probably have a family. I would then have to assume the role of the doctor in that family. And it's like, do I wear his skin or do I just like kind of try to con them into thinking that I'm him? And it gets really complicated pretty quick. I'd probably just wear his skin though, is honestly the quickest answer to that.
I thought Pig's answer was dark, but okay.
Great question. Thank you for enriching my day. Melty asks, isn't that the trolley problem? That's a thing? Oh yeah, you can stop the trolley from hitting.
Yeah, that's the trolley problem.
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys. Still Knox back again to phrase and answer as question. Well, that depends on. Okay, they're talking in here, guys.
They're talking about the
questions in the question. A test if you are a true Neo Steel enthusiast from Kronovsky. If you could have one StarCraft 2 skill, spell, or upgrade available in real life, which one would you choose? Interesting.
The Mutalisk self-regeneration stuff.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would stop you aging? Is that why? Or do you think it's just...
Mutalisks never die of old age.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't say Reaper. Those things die of old age, man. Like after about 10 minutes, they fucking if there's still a Reaper on the map, that is wow.
What about you guys?
I think if life is just us trying to kind of proliferate our cells and expand and create progeny and legacy, I would be a queen. And I'd just be injecting like hatcheries and throwing lava and shit. And there'd be like billions of Zerg, which would then create more billions of Zerg. And it would just be the beginning of like I know I would live on forever, even if my own original physical form was gone from this world.
So you basically want the ability to inject.
Yes.
That's the ability. I'm just want to clarify here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inject.
Yeah. Okay. Well, kind of have that already, just saying.
Yeah. Not at that rate.
That's fine. Okay.
3 lava every 40 seconds. I mean, come on, or 29 seconds actually. 40 hot seconds.
I picked Dark Templar is the obvious answer here. I mean,
speed invisible.
I'm invisible.
Yeah, I was gonna say Blink too. I think Blink is cool.
Blink would be pretty cool. Great question.
Blink
Thank
would
you.
be good.
Dan, what's your upgrade? What did you say? Oh, Milos. You said Milos regeneration.
But actually, the battlecruiser jump thing would be insane too.
Jump where you don't know though, bro. See this? They don't do this, but what if you teleport into a wall, man?
Well, obviously, I would know where I'm going.
You don't have vision.
You don't have vision. Yeah, you don't have to. That's the thing. I think Dan would live like 20 years of his life blinking safely, but the one time he's like, watch what I can do. And someone would just like step in that space, and Dan would teleport inside of that. And then just be like, ugh! How did Dan die? Well, he took one blink too many, if you know what I mean. He always did like to teleport around. Dissection 1992 says, hi guys, love the show and super excited to watch you at BlizzCon. I noticed that you guys often apologize about the length of This Week in StarCraft. You ever considered dedicating a portion of the screen space to This Week in StarCraft and just having it as rolling text or slideshow style, like a news channel to save yourselves time? Or do you think that this would be a negative change for podcast-style listeners / increase Cobra's workload? You answered yourself there. Thank you for asking. No, we have not thought about that because A, that's a lot of graphical work every single week, and then B, this is a podcast as well for people, so if we just had a side-scrolling thing that we never mentioned, then that would not be good. And actually, and I'm going to come out and say it because I'm defending my Bay here, Dan does a freaking fantastic job, and he's got it down to about 10 minutes, and then when I interrupt and make some jokes, it's like 20. But I think we actually have a good system going right now. The system that didn't
we're
work,
working on it. It's going to get better and better.
Yeah. Jeff doing it for an hour and a half. That did not work. That was not good. All right, next question. Cobra. High Tide. So how much Warhammer stuff did you have to sell to pay for the match fixing today? So you can see it was an old question. Not that much, my man. It was an unfair show match. I'll give Dan here some defense. Like, Dan has not been playing StarCraft 2, and he played off-race, which is really hard for him. And then in Brood War, that was just... It was one game.
That was a good game.
It was a good game. I was happy with it, too.
Yeah, that was a nice game.
So hopefully we'll play more in the future. But that was nice. I was happy that it was a good game and not just like him bunker rushing me and me dying in 2 minutes, or me like running by with Lings and winning that way or something like that. Then it would be like, it's not a game.
I thought about cheesing you. I saw you struggling against 1-on-1 and stuff, and I was like, no, let's play a real macro game here.
That's why I actually drone scouted my natural, because I was like, Dan is the kind of guy. And he had the debate in his head, but the good side of Dan won there. But he's like,
could have gone the other way.
Yeah. Sam Talik says, it was super cool to see Fantasy qualify for the Super Tournament. Are there any rumblings of other older / post-military service Korean players thinking about making a return to StarCraft 2 pro scene? And he says, July's Erd. If you could have one player come back from military retirement, who would it be? So, Dan, have you heard of any other players coming back from pro gaming?
I mean, Tasia was just announced.
Yeah. Tasia is actually insanely good right now. For like the amount of time he's put in, he's like 6'4" on Korea, which is top 50 GM almost, which is like scary good for the amount. Like we're talking like 1 month, 2 months of actually like being post-military. So who knows? He could actually be really, really good next year.
Next question is, other than who has come back, who would you like to come back?
Voldemort.
Life?
Yeah.
Nice. Is he banned for life, or is it a? We don't know, right?
He's banned for life.
Is it? It was announced that? Okay, that's too bad.
Yeah, me too.
I'm 90. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm 99% sure he's banned.
To be fair, that wasn't a military retirement, but
yeah.
If I could bring anyone back, I think I'd agree with him.
That's true.
Or with Pig.
Someone said Tester in the chat. That's a good answer. He was fun back in the day. Remember Idra versus Tester in the first ever StarCraft 2 tournament?
His name is Clyde.
Clyde. Yeah, I don't know who's in the military, so I can't really answer. Polt, I actually...
Yeah.
He can stay in the military. That's fine. I think the military needs Polt more than we do, is what I would say. Bombers in the military? Yeah, they can keep him too.
Basically, most people that retired that were still doing well went to military. It's interesting because all the guys that are coming back are returning to pro gaming now. For a long time, that was impossible, but we have players returning into ASL, and we had Fantasy come back into GSL, so that's cool. It's nice to know that maybe in the future, military life isn't the death sentence to your career that it always was before.
Yeah. Condog902, can we get some Command & Conquer hype going? EA has announced a remaster and a new game for PC. And then he says, sorry, Jeff, which I don't quite know if that's a joke or what. I loved Command & Conquer. I'm guessing my three friends here are about to say as well. It was StarCraft and it was Command & Conquer. And Warcraft, of course. Those are your RTS games. People will say Dune. People will say Age of Empires. They're not wrong, but if you were looking for what you got out of an RTS in any semblance of PvP or competitive play, those were your games. I loved Command & Conquer Gold. I loved Command & Conquer Red Alert. I'm excited to hear that they're remastering it. I love that we're remastering things in general, by the way. Like Warcraft 3 is on the horizon. This is really fun time to be alive. There's some of our old games getting some new love. What about you guys?
Yeah, that's super cool. I didn't realize that Command & Conquer was coming back. But actually, I agree with you, but I am actually the Age of Empires over Command & Conquer guy. I always liked Age of Empires 3 a lot, but I mean, I love RTS games in general. So anytime I see RTSs getting any love, I will purchase them to support the companies, and I will definitely give them a try and see if I like them.
Jake, Pig, you guys play?
I haven't played a CNC game. It was, my first RTS games was like the original. Did they say they're remastering multiple, or?
I thought it was just Red Alert is what I saw, but maybe it's not even, I don't know.
I'm going to look up the press release.
I like Command & Conquer a lot. I played it when I was really, really young, so it's hard to have a really strong opinion. We're talking 8, 9 years old. But visually and I felt it really enjoyable. So it's nice to see these games coming back. I think these games were, the birth of an extremely good or extremely successful genre, which was RTS, Brood War, and seeing them all being remastered is really awesome. Because this genre doesn't really have much games coming into it.
Fuda BTW in the chat wants us to clarify that it will not be the original company, and that is because Westwood Studios does not exist anymore. So thank you very much, Fuda, for that. They have not existed for a while. Broodweiser.
Hopefully they do a good job.
It's EA. They do a great job every time. Just kidding. How prevalent is Adderall usage by pro gamers or other performance-enhancing drugs? Now's your chance, Jared. Jake, come clean. How much Adderall?
Well, it's not easy to stay, there at 5.5 kmmR on the NAGM ladder every day. Streaming that all day is hard. I gotta pop a few addies before I get on the ladder, man. How else am I gonna read Twitch chat while laddering? It's pretty hard.
Yep.
But I actually think I may be naive to say this, but I don't think there's really any Adderall usage. Like it's not like widespread or rampant. Maybe one or two people have tried it, but I don't think it's common.
I've heard, like, I've seen articles come out occasionally that say this, that like, oh, it's like really big in like Halo or Counter-Strike or something. And I wouldn't have been surprised if it had been used in like Brood War at its peak or something. Like, it definitely could have been. I honestly don't think that any StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2 pros in Korea do this, because I see them right before we go live and they are just completely normal and
well, I mean,
just acting like they always do, you know, whether they're playing or not. And they're just, so I actually don't think it's a problem, but I mean, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I think this stuff usually gets around from the pro players, like it slips out or sneaks out. And it's never happened in StarCraft 2. Like we never have this rumor of this person using it ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, and this stuff always comes out. Like X person kissed X person. Like if this stuff gets out, there's no way that Adderall usage wouldn't. So, and I've never heard it like a gossip story about it. So
I'm sure it's happened because it's just a thing that does. But I've been in StarCraft since the beginning, and I'll just tell you, I've never encountered it. So that's not me saying that it has never happened. It's me saying, if it does, it's so quiet and so few that it's just literally, like Jake just said, it's not enough.
It definitely never happened in any of our tournaments back in the day.
People are mentioning, like, someone was saying Liquid Hero used it. Gemini is saying, no, he actually just used traditional Korean herbal medicine. I remember people saying he used beta blockers as well, which is different to Adderall. It's a different thing.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yep. Captain Happa, what are the rules for coaching/advising between matches? I thought of this when I saw Lambo hop on stage to talk to Cyril during the finals versus Raynor at Montreal. Are there different rules for GSL? Yes, you cannot hop on the stage in the GSL and coach him, but I guess if you're if you have a badge, you're there, you can go talk to him if you want.
I mean, we've done it before. I think between games you're not allowed to do it because they start so quickly in GSL, but I think WCS has a bigger break between games. I actually feel like this isn't a rule that's very well either very well understood or very well said. Either one of these two, because I have no idea if I'm allowed to go up or not. I usually go off the base of the person that I want to go up and talk to, and if they would want that, like for example, Scarlet genuinely wants that kind of thing, and then I will go up. But if it's like someone I don't know or something like that, but yeah, I don't think this rule is very well stated, or it may be, and it's just not well interpreted.
Yep.
But
so we don't know. But it's generally like person to person. In the history of StarCraft, no one's ever approached somebody on stage and had that player been like, "Get him away from me."
Yeah.
Sambican, Artosis, I knew you would be a Samus main. And then this question gets weird. What kinds of chaplain or other ministry services are available for pro gamers or gamers in general? I am a seminary student preparing to become a pastor. I would love to share community and discussions with other gamers and pros who are interested in discussing their beliefs. Much love. Stay positive. Sambican, thank you for your Patreon support. What kind of chaplain or other ministry services are available for pro gamers? All of them. I would imagine there is no seminary on planet fucking Earth that would look at a pro gamer and be like, "My child, what is your background?" And they're like, "I'm a gamer." And they go, "Get out! The devil!" It just wouldn't happen. So all of them are available.
I'm guessing that the question might have to do with like WCS, and I would say that I don't think that there's anything like that there.
Oh yeah, if the question's if there are actual chaplains at WCS and what kind of services are they providing, 0. Yeah, so you can do it. You can explore, and if you're saying you want to talk and connect with other gamers that believe in beliefs, that's fine. We have a fantastic Discord where people are talking about all kinds of stuff. You can use your next question to ask if anyone wants to contact you or something like that. And much positive vibes to you as well. No judgment here. It's just I read the question as you were literally asking if there were services available to pro gamers, and I can't not troll at that moment.
Yeah, whatever's in their town, I guess, right? Whatever
it is inside of me. If it's the devil or God, I don't know, but there's something in me that has to do it. iPour says, who is the third most likely to win Blizzcon? We had a whole thing talking about that. And this question, I think, it was from yesterday, so hopefully you found a lot of fulfillment in that. iPour. Bilbo, hey pig, if you had to shoey a warm 5x gold from one pro gamer shoe that is going to BlizzCon, who would it be and why? Bonus question, would you then beat them in a kissing contest? Shoey is to drink a beer out of a shoe, right?
Yeah. We got Tempo to do on the other day when we were having a little drinky stream, which was great. Tempo's a warrior, absolute legend. Were there 5Xs or 4Xs? I need to clarify this.
It is 4. I apologize.
What are we talking about? What's going on?
People
are
drinking
beers out of shoe. What is an X? What?
Yeah. I mean, Matt can probably Google shoey videos. There's like ones of whenever they do counter.
See it. I don't want to see it. That's so disgusting. That you would put a beer in a shoe? Like you pour the beer into a dirty ass shoe and drink it?
It was great, the other one, because afterwards we were just like, Tempo, you warrior. We couldn't believe he did it. And then he's just kind of like, he pulls his cat hair out his head.
All right,
come on.
We're moving on.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, I was trying to explain this to a bunch of American, a bunch of different American people, and like, if you Google it, there's like Hugh Grant doing it on like one of those Tonight shows, and they're both drinking it out of their fancy leather shoes. It's terrible.
Like an Australian thing, then I guess, right?
I think British as well, and like a lot of I think the Formula One drivers do it when they win. It's really fucking weird.
That's disgusting. There's like weird sweat and dirt and fuzz from the rug and like all this different. It's so
you might as well just pour the beer on the ground and
fucking
slurp it up with a straw or some shit.
While I'm on it, I want to talk about beer pong and how terrible that. Take a dirty ball and throw it into a cup of beer, and then someone has to drink that. The thing is bouncing all over the floor. There's nothing dirtier than a bar floor. People are gross, man. People are gross.
And while we're at it,
can't believe you just attacked beer pong like that, man.
Wait, I've got to answer the question, right? I got to choose a pro gamer's shoe that I would drink it from, and then would I beat them in a kissing contest? Like, I'm gonna just ignore the last part because I don't know where that's coming from. I'd clearly beat every pro gamer in a kissing contest. Come on, don't even fucking doubt me. Jesus.
I agree.
But who would have the cleanest feet is really what we're getting at here. You know, the least sweaty, the least hair. Hopefully, it doesn't have too many pets. Thinking about the pro gamers, I honestly don't know how many pro gamers' shoes or feet I've actually looked at closely before. Wow. I'm going to take a wild guess. Yeah, Cyril seems like it'd be pretty clean, but I was going to say I'm going to go with an Asian culture. I'd actually go Haas because, you know, in Taiwan they're very good with their foot getting foot massages. I'd drink it from Haas's shoe. I think Haas would have a very clean shoe.
Let's not. Let's just let that one out there. Let's just let that sit out there. Pig said it. I'm not endorsing it any further. Blinker, what is the future for players and teams in regards to sponsorships and branding? I do want to stop you there. You're asking us to tell you the future about sponsorships and branding.
Literally, you take every question. It's amazing.
Will we continue to see 2 to 3 players per team, with the teams getting sponsors and supporting players that way, or will companies bypass teams and go for players themselves for individual deals? All I need. Here's your answer, Blinker. Yes.
Okay, so real quick. Teams are basically just agencies for players. That's the way that you should look at it. It's basically just a talent agency that signs the players for the company, so it's easier for them to talk to a team than a player. So
yeah, I think
what's the future of that? It seems like everything is stream based nowadays.
Yeah, but like if you're talking StarCraft 2 specifically, I don't see the point of picking up like 10 players like we used to in the past. I think it's always you just pick up one maybe 2 of like the really good players and then just let it go. Back in the day, people would just pick up like 7, 8, 9 StarCraft players. There's no reason for that, in my opinion.
Right.
Like,
that's why I said
StarCraft
yes.
players
It's like you're gonna have 2 or 3,
we'll go with
maybe.
Yes.
You can sponsor 1. I could see like Team Liquid still has a roster. Some of these bigger companies, like maybe if Legacy of the Void keeps going and someone sells them the right idea, there's gonna be a fucking green wall of StarCraft players next year, like 3 of them or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's all possible. We don't have an answer that's like no. This thing's stopping in the future. It's all like it's all possible. Some drunk Canadian asks, the European side has some exciting young blood in the scene. Clem, Raynor, is there any young blood in Korea we can look forward to? What should be done to encourage and support new blood? A lot of blood in this in Korea.
Nogret and I were actually just talking about this the other day, how there's not that much new blood, not that many up-and-comers for StarCraft 2.
Were you talking about that with Pig as well?
It's a little bit of a problem. No, well, I don't talk with people who hate Rogue, so no.
I sometimes try to talk to Dan, and he usually just turns away from me.
Yeah.
And
I just start yelling. I'm like, I can't hear what you're saying. Until he's quiet.
Sometimes
and then Pick goes, "Why did you call me on Skype?" Then
And just he goes on to say, "Pig, I love you. My girlfriend hates the way you say Marauder. Is this a big red flag? Sending much love from the Great White North." Pig, how do you say Marauder?
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 It's just
I don't think it's a red flag as a Canadian.
That should be fine. You guys should be fine with that.
Me and Dan were talking a lot about the first question. I actually thought the best way we could possibly encourage new blood is bringing back Code A and having some more. The problem with Korea right now is that you either qualify for the hardest tournament in the world, essentially, or you don't qualify for anything at all. So it's either you're all there or you're not there at all. So you don't really see any new blood. It's very, very rare because you have to qualify for Code S to do it. And yeah, I think Code A would be a really great way to bridge that and showcase lesser players, even if they lose. Even if we have DRG Link just come in and lose for whatever reason, or Nightmare or whoever, or at least they have some representation on camera, some view of them out there, and some way of motivating them to play more.
There you go.
It's hard when it's so concentrated, right? Because they've just got so much talent in one area, yeah. And if we think about the different waves when there's been up and coming players around the world, there was the French time where there was Lil Bao and all these kind of other French players Marine Lord. That sort of, there's a few others. DNS came out of there because they had the underdogs and all these cool local tournaments. And we've always seen kind of local scenes that have regular stuff to showcase and give a bit of money to the players that allows that to happen. So yeah, it's definitely something that's very lacking in Korea right now. Yeah.
Okay, great question. Melty again. I have a bit of a conundrum, so I thought I'd come here for advice. Generally speaking, would you guys take a risk on a dream or rather go with a sure thing? If you had to choose one or the other. So you have an opportunity, but it's risky. You could lose out. Would you do it, or do you always go for the sure thing where you know it's a safe bet?
Oh, I always go for the risky thing.
Yeah, me too.
That's how I got to where I am.
Yeah. Actually, now that you say that, yeah.
I mean, it comes down to risk analysis, right? If it's 99% risky, it's it better be a big payoff, right? As long as it's proportional, take the risk, right? If you take a lot of risks, as long as there's overall more to win from taking risks over the long period, then you should always take that. And that's usually RTS games, right? If you just try and play overly safe all the time and you start building cannons on one base, which is what everyone starts doing when they first play an RTS, because they're well, I got killed by the thing, I got to stop the thing. And they find, over time, playing it safe never wins. But if you can toe the line and take good risks continually over time, you start to win a lot of games. So in StarCraft terms, taking risks is really good, and gambling a lot is really good.
Yep. I would just really quickly add, if you do take a risk, you have to be at peace with the consequences. So that is the risk analysis. If you're well, if this fails, I die and everyone I love dies. It's well, then if you don't have to, don't take that risk. But if it's I can afford to lose $1,000 and it's risky, it's not likely that I get the payback for this, but if it does, it's huge, then yeah, take it, whatever. OnRack, can we settle the Artosis / In Control pylon debate and just agree it's a Roddy pylon? Compromise on a scapegoat. Realness. Who do you all personally want to win BlizzCon? We already answered that. Thank you, though. Concordia. What is good etiquette regarding using content from VODs of StarCraft 2 tournaments or player streams? Say if someone wants to make a video montage of players / matches from GSL or WCS or any other tournament with VODs on YouTube or Africa. That's a great question, actually.
I don't know what the actual answer is, but I see a lot of people do it all the time, and I can't imagine anyone really minding. It's
they do, though.
You're gonna look at the clip and be oh, if I want to see more of this, I can go there. It's not like you're stealing the whole show. It's not like I'm you know what? I want to watch Jeff's stream, but all his VODs are behind a paywall. Let me watch this highlight that has a 3-second Jeff clip in it, and then I'm all right, now I'm not gonna subscribe to Jeff. No, that's not happening. So
I don't disagree with you, but his question specifically about etiquette, and I will tell you, having experience with this, that there are people that mind, and I agree with you. For me personally, if someone used clips from my stream for something,
I would never contact them and be like, take that down this instant. Like, that's not a big deal to me. But I've posted pictures of me, by the way. I've posted pictures of me on my Twitter that someone else took and then been reached out by that person, been like, take that down. You need to ask me for permission to use that picture. And I've been like,
I've had something kind of similar to that where I didn't even know that if someone takes a picture of you, they own it.
Yeah.
And you can't use it yourself.
But that's the way it is. So the etiquette, the answer to your question, etiquette-wise, is always reach out and say, do you mind if I use this? And then default to, like, if they're like, absolutely, I don't want you to, then no, you don't. Because whatever you're taking clips of or pictures of, there's probably a lot of content, or more often than not, they'll be like, can you just attribute us or give a link to our thing? And then you're like, yes. That's the etiquette, is you ask, and then you do it.
Yeah.
The esports way is to fire from both hips, just... And then if they respond and are like, please don't do that, just don't respond to them. Ignore them for the rest of your life. And you'll probably be fine. Because nobody can afford to sue anybody. Nobody wants to. That's the non-etiquette answer, but you should ask and then do it.
I like that. There's always like a new like league or tournament every week, and they're like, guys, we're announcing our new, it's the Major League, Rocket League something, and they've just taken like the Major League Baseball logo, and it's like they've changed one little letter in it or something. You're like, yeah, guys, you can't do that. Like, you really, no.
Yep.
That is stealing other people's stuff. Don't. And everyone in the esports is like, what?
I can't believe it. All right, wrapping up the final few questions here. Concordia, what is... No, wait, I just said. Bradadia, how do you guys feel about small observer changes for StarCraft Remastered to make things a bit easier for viewers? The one I was thinking of in particular was making Irradiate visible on burrowed lurkers, as I personally find those interactions a bit confusing as a spectator of Remastered. Are there any other similar changes that come to mind? Love the show.
Yeah, I guess stuff like that is really hard. Even like if you're the one irradiating the lurker, sometimes you re-click it to make sure, because it takes a while. I guess some of that could be nice. I don't know how that would work within the game itself, because it's using still very old code, right? So like they freshen up the graphics, but I guess it's hard to add some of these things on. I don't know. I don't know the right answer to that.
I think if it was possible, my personal opinion, if I think it's possible, I think it's always good to improve the observer experience. So I don't think there's any downside to improving it. The observer experience, for sure.
Well, you say
like,
that.
I'm not talking about in-game. I'm talking about for like spectators.
Yeah, but like for instance, I believe that we use the production tab right at the beginning for games in ASL. Like there was a little period, and that like ruins. Like if you have a production tab in StarCraft 1, it actually ruins the viewing experience. So you don't want everything. You don't want too much information as well.
Just enough. Just the right amount of information. Love the show. For no regret, anyone in the team house have a really weird habit or quirk that surprised you a lot?
There's some annoying shit. Like for whatever reason, a lot of players like to go out loud, and it's really fucking annoying. And all of them do it.
While they're playing?
Like, no, just like after. If they lose, or like whenever they say it's a stress reliever. It's so fucking annoying, though.
To go.
Yes. They do it like
so
they communicate to each other doing it too. Like when someone does it, the other people start doing it too. So it's like a fucking.
Are you serious?
Yes, I can't even make this shit up if I wanted to. Okay, I tell them to knock it off every time because it's so fucking annoying to me. And it happens. Now they're just doing it because it annoys me. But one person starts, and then somebody else hears that and amplifies it. And then it goes all the way around the room, and then I tell them to shut the fuck up.
So they'll be sitting there playing their game, and they hear it, and they're like, still playing their game.
Yep. One person does it, and all he hears, whoosh, 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 and it's all around the room.
Okay, guys, I want to go back to the BlizzCon prediction thing. No foreigners.
Yikes!
No, not a chance.
So much.
There you go. Thank you for that moment. Evil Little Panda. The BlizzCon schedule has slotted the Pylon Show for only 1 hour. Do you think that's even enough time? Yes. Warhammer asks, nowadays we rarely see a single player stomp through a tournament, whether group or bracket, save Maru in GSL Season 2. Both Maru and Serral have had some close calls in their wins. From memory, what is the most dominant single tournament performance you can remember, i.e. someone absolutely destroying everyone and everything in their path? Small second question, favorite milkshake flavors / combinations?
Okay, I have to answer the first question. It is there was a one where Nest lost like one map or something to win a GSL, if I recall correctly, way back. And like when Zest won his most recent GSL that he won, he lost like 2 maps, I want to say, total. Yeah, something like that, or 3 maps. It was very low though, but it was like I kind of recall comparing it to Nest's run when that was happening. So those are the 2
actual
real
answer. It qualifies. You ready for this?
Yeah.
We hosted a show match between Idra and what was that Slayer's Terran that wasn't Boxer? He actually came back.
MMA.
We hosted a $7,000 sponsored show match. Best of 7.
Damn.
Best of 7.
I'm hearing a 4-0 from MMA is what I'm hearing.
Greg gets proxy 2-raxed 2 games in a row and then forfeits the remainder of this best of 7. We pay MMA all $7,000 because we didn't want to give Greg any money for doing that. And then we never did that content again because that sponsor was like, well, this is highway robbery.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard. I'm so sorry.
And I commentated it. But nobody will remember it except for me because I sat there, like, it was like 15 minutes of commentary, and then I sat there and like looked at my table for an hour, and I was just like, I can't believe Greg did that.
Oh my lord.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
And we asked Greg about it too.
You know, that's the drama we've been missing, man. Greg always I was like, hey guys, this is the guy who might win the tournament, or he might just leave after the strategy comes out that he doesn't like.
He's done both. What's your guys' favorite milkshakes?
Times. Oh, actually, by the way, I think, I've got to keep disagreeing with Dan really quickly.
Please do.
Sniper was the most dominant tournament run of all time. 2012, Broodlords and Infestors, most skillful player we've ever seen.
It was forgettable, for sure.
And then he just disappeared forever after that. Yep.
Yeah, because he'd hit the peak. He couldn't get any higher.
Still better than Rogue, you'd say, though, right, Pig? I always
2 to 3 times. Yeah.
Yep.
More likely to get top 4 at Blizzcon.
Yeah.
Actually, he might be going for Heroes of the Storm. He's actually a really good Heroes of the Storm pro now.
Everyone's favorite milkshakes and combination is Oreo milkshakes with grilled cheese, by the way, to answer your question. So, Alessandro, final question. Jake, how does it feel to lead the second most successful team house in Korea? You're making so much possible that never was before for foreigners. Thank you.
It feels good. I'm really happy that I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm able to bring. We had like 16 or 17 different countries of players here. So even if all the players just came here and, did what they wanted to do, it's just a great experience for everyone, I think.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm happy to be leading it.
Feels good, except for the stupid fucking sound they all make, right?
Yeah, this. I gotta make the rule. I gotta make a rule against that sound. They just break it though. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. All right, that's it for the Q&A. I will do this. I will look into the questions for hosts. There's usually 1 or 2 pretty good ones in here. Let me look real quick, guys. 1 second. What do you guys think of the new BlizzCon in-game rewards this year?
Oh, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I haven't played with the console for StarCraft 1 yet, but I'll give it a try.
Okay. That's about it. GGM asked one, but it's like 76 words and 4 paragraphs, so I'm just going to skip right on past that.
Sorry, Vinny.
You guys, every week I'm like, please keep them short. People are like, fuck, Jeff. Here we go. Okay, so 1998, right? The game comes out. I'm like, ah! Guys, thank you so much. It was a really wonderful episode. I want to give a big round of applause and shout out and thanks to our 2 guests this week. It's always a pleasure to have No Regret on. He's one of the and Pig, to be honest. It's these were selected by Dan, and his wisdom goes beyond because you guys are 2 of the people that are most confident in disagreeing with Dan and I, which we really appreciate. I especially appreciate that it was mostly Dan that both of you guys kind of repeatedly found yourself disagreeing with. That's totally great for me because that's my kink. That's kind of what I'm here for. But that will do it for the show. So we're going to give some shout outs here. Do please support us on Patreon. Ever since I held up my little Starcraft hat and kind of made eye contact with each of you viewers as you passed by. Nobody actually signed up on the Patreon. Not a single one of you. So later tonight, I'm going to
I'm going to open up my stomach and let my innards spill out, and that'll just be like the final sacrifice of Jeff to the StarCraft 2 community. But if any of you can get us to that $2,000 hump, we will start paying these sons of bitches for their time, and I really want to do that. So please help us out with that. That's it for that part. Mr. Umbleby. How do you say your last name?
Umbleby. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What is there any more of your tournaments you're going to be hosting? Anything like that?
Oh yeah. So definitely, obviously, we're going to keep with the team house next year. This is going to keep running for a couple more years at least. That's one thing that would be nice to get out there, because a lot of people are like, "Is it happening again?" It's definitely happening again. And as for tournaments, I'm planning to do Memes and Dreams too for Christmas time.
Nice.
Which is basically like Korean Home Story Cup. It'll be a lot of fun. I already have a lot of Koreans confirmed.
Cool.
And it'll be more like a Christmas time fun thing. So look out for that.
Someone's going to wear a Christmas hat, is what you're saying. Santa Claus hat.
Maybe a full Santa suit. We can get a Santa suit out and we'll see.
If you get special in a Santa suit and have someone sit on his lap,
would be great.
I will personally donate $100.
Okay, that sounds good. I will pay $50 for the suit now. Get it happening.
Great. I promise I will do it. If you have that, I will actually donate. Absolutely.
Sounds good. I'll have it happen then. And Anonymous is going to come back soon, so yeah, you can watch that. And you can follow my Twitter.
Very cool. Another big content producer in our scene who's done an awesome job with the stream lately. Pig, direct people to all your things. They're great. They're wonderful. What are you up to?
X5_Pig on Twitch, streaming, 5-6 days a week. Good time for Americans. Okay time for Europeans, actually. Daylight savings is switching around. The Earth is indeed not flat. Daylight savings swaps, and I actually start to stream at a decent hour for EU, which is cool. Just before I head off to BlizzCon, we announced it earlier, but just to rehash that, Who is the StarCraft Master Tournament is going to be on. So that's this Sunday and Monday, just around 10 p.m. Central European time is when the broadcast is going to start. That's 4 p.m. Eastern US, 1 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. And that is a tournament where we've got a whole bunch of top pros, including a bunch of BlizzCon competitors playing all races. So tune in, check it out. I'll throw it up on Reddit. But you guys can always find me, X5_Pig, on just about everything. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure as always. And I look forward to seeing you guys at BlizzCon, where I'm not sure what I'll be doing there, but I might be attending the event. Not sure why.
What?
It'll be good to see you.
We'll see. Who knows? Thank you, Pig. Love having you on. Mr. Artosis, you are an amazing sport with all the crap that you get shoveled at you, and you're a great guy. Are you gonna be streaming? You got some StarCraft Master to commentate?
Certainly. I have 4 more days of commentary before I go to California. So KSL tonight, KSL tomorrow night, the opening nights. So definitely check that out on the StarCraft Twitch. And then on Sunday and Tuesday evenings, we have the ASL Ro4, which is going to be exciting, of course. So check all those out. And I've just been streaming a lot. So check that out, twitch.tv/Artosis. I won't stream today. I got to go to work relatively soon, actually, for KSL tonight. But definitely check me out. I've been streaming very, very regularly.
Awesome. And for myself, thank you all so much for tuning in to the show. We really love it. It's a highlight of the week. We're really having a good time. Thank you for those of you that support the channel in various different ways. There's a lot of ways to do it. And even just watching and listening, if you don't have the dough or interest to do otherwise, is something. So thank you. I've talked about the schedule. I will be streaming this a couple of days as well, but you guys know that. If you have a Twitch Prime sub or something like that, feel free to throw it my way. It helps me and the channel and that kind of stuff. We'd appreciate it. That's it. We'll see you guys not next week, but, well, the following week is the big end of the year celebration of StarCraft. So we're hoping that you guys will tune in. We'll see you there. Love you all. Goodbye.